Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, selamat pagi kepada semua panel dan juga semua peserta sesi webinar kita pada pagi ini. Dan seperti kita sedia maklum bahawa pagi ini merupakan sesi dalam berdasarkan kepada iklan yang kita nyatakan adalah Kajian Semula Standard Program Psikologi edisi yang kedua. Tapi suka saya maklumkan walaupun nama webinar ni Kajian Semula, sebenarnya adalah sesi pelaksanaan kepada pemakaian Standard Program Psikologi edisi yang kedua, kerana proses pembangunan dan sebagainya kita telah selesai laksanakan, dan sesi bersama stakeholder sebelum kita finalkan Standard Program ini pun telah dilaksanakan. Maksudnya semua proses pembangunan review Standard Program ini telah dilaksanakan sebelum ini, dan pada pagi ini merupakan sesi penerangan oleh Dr. Edisi sebagai penulis standard writers, bersama dengan pengurusi dan juga semua ahli panel pembangun yang hadir pada sesi kita pada pagi ini. Jadi pada pagi ini pihak Dr. Edisi bersama panel dan pengurusi panel akan menerangkanlah bagaimana sebenarnya pelaksanaan kepada Standard Program Psikologi edisi yang kedua ini. Dan dalam sesi ini akan kita open untuk sesi Q&A. Cuma untuk peringkat permulaan, Dr. Edisi akan menerangkan dahulu tentang standard-standard yang terdapat di dalam Standard Program Psikologi, apa requirement yang berkaitan bagi 7 bidang jaminan kualiti yang kita nyatakanlah di dalam standard program ini. Dan di akhir nanti kita akan ada sesi Q&A. Walau bagaimanapun semasa sesi penerangan oleh Dr. Edisi, kita buka ruang untuk pertanyaan dalam setting lah. Saya rasa untuk sesi pada pagi ini sebagai kata permulaan, saya ringkasnya begitulah, dan kami Tiba MPA bersama dengan panel pembangun mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih di atas kehadiran semua peserta sesi webinar pada pagi ini, dan kita mengharapkan supaya sesi kita pada pagi ini kita akan dapat menjelaskan tentang kaedah sebenar pelaksanaan terhadap standard-standard yang dinyatakan. So kalau ada perkara yang kurang jelas yang dinyatakan di dalam standard program ini, inilah masa yang paling sesuai lah, kerana selepas ini berdasarkan tarikh pemakaian dan transisi di antara standard program yang lama dengan yang baru ini, kita dah nyatakan dalam bukti lidik, dan selepas ini merupakan lebih kepada pelaksanaan di peringkat IPT. Jadi untuk sesi pada pagi ini kita open dan kita buka supaya pihak panel bersama dengan semua pihak kepentingan dapat lebih jelas lagi lah tentang standard yang terdapat di dalam Standard Program Psikologi edisi yang kedua. So tanpa melengahkan masa, saya mempersilakan Dr. Edisi sebagai panel dan juga penulis standard, dibantu oleh pengurusi Prof. Rahmatullah, dan nanti Dr. Edisi akan terangkanlah senarai panel-panel lain yang terlibat dalam proses pembangunan standard program ini. So Dr. Edisi, saya persilakan dengan segala hormatnya.
Terima kasih banyak Encik Kamarul. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Saya harap anda boleh dengar suara saya. Kalau tak dengar, beritahu dekat chat. Nanti saya betul-betulkan sikit apa yang betul. Okey, boleh nampak tak slide sekarang yang dikongsikan oleh host? Boleh? Boleh dengar tak? Minta feedback daripada peserta. Boleh dengar suara saya dan boleh nampak slide? Okey, good. Terima kasih banyak. Sekali lagi tidak lewat untuk saya ucapkan selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri, Aid Mubarak, taqabbalallahu minna wa minkum kepada penganut agama Islam dan penganut agama lain yang sama-sama hadir beraya bersama-sama open house, insya-Allah. Tugas saya pada pagi ini ialah untuk the presentation will be in English, of course, the start will be in English, but I will start in bahasa Melayu. Tugas saya pada hari ini ialah membentangkan program standard psikologi edisi kedua. Program standard Psychology second edition. The first edition was developed in 2003, and it's actually quite late. It's supposed to be each 5 years, but after 10 years, we now have our second edition of program standard in psychology. As you can see that the first edition is in 2013, and in 2023, it has been launched officially, if I'm not mistaken, on February, correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, MQA officers, and all PPT, we call it PPT or HEP, PPT Pemberi Pendidikan Tinggi or HEP, Higher Education Provider, they have to revise their curriculums within, again, if I'm not mistaken, 6 months from the date of launch. So now is the busy time for you to revise your curriculum. Yeah, revise your curriculum. Not only curriculum, which is only area 1. I'm sure you know there are 7 areas in COPA. So please download the program standard. Now, perhaps you can read it simultaneously with my presentation, just in case you have any issues or concerns or questions that you want to ask me and the other panelists, panelists or developer of this program standard second edition. Now, some of you have attended the webinar for stakeholders, and based on your feedback, we have made a lot of improvement. Thank you so much. And now we are going to present you the finalized version together with some frequently asked questions. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Yes, what is different between the previous programs? Let me use the term PS 1.0 and PS 2.0 to differentiate between the two. In PS 1.0, we do not differentiate between basic and applied psychology. But in PS 2.0, we do. There's a reason for it, because I think a lot of people out there, non-psychologists, expect all psychologists to be able to do therapy, for example, or counseling, or professional intervention. And as a psychologist or student of psychologists or psychology graduates, I'm sure you know that this is not the truth. In any introduction to psychology textbook, most of them will differentiate between basic and applied psychology. This is also very important so that our students who pursue basic psychology areas know their limitations. And also those who pursue applied psychology also know their limitations. Both, there's no difference between the two in terms of what do you call that, who have the most knowledge or who has the most skill. There's no difference. All areas are amazing. I'm sure you know about that. But we have to differentiate so that we can control our graduates not to overclaim. And also so that people, layperson, know that not all psychologists can provide counseling or therapy or diagnose mental illness. Even if they are non-clinical applied psychologists like me, organization psychologist, I cannot do therapy, I cannot diagnose, but I have special skills that even clinical psychologists do not have. So these are the things that we think students should know, and sometimes psychology lecturers should know also. Because sometimes psychology lecturers, when they teach, they tend to, especially when they teach introduction to psychology, they tend to over-explain their own areas. So this is not good for the quality and understanding of our student. So let me read you. The basic psychology consists of biological, cognitive, cultural, developmental, experimental, personality, gender, social, and psychometric psychology. Okay. They are amazing psychologists. I'm sure you know about that. They are very good in their theories. They're very good in their assessment skills in their particular area, or at least questionnaire. They can develop modules. They can give talk, ceramah, and most of the research grant is very easy. Is much easier for them to get. Like FRGS, fundamental. They are very, very fundamental, right? And then we have applied psychology. We categorize it into two, non-practitioner and practitioner. And I assume most of you psychologists, a psychology lecturer, psychology graduate, or psychology student I'm sure you know that some applied psychology are practitioner, or another name for it, professional. Remember, we use the word professional when we present this during the stakeholder webinar, but some say, are we not professional, for example, this basic psychology example, environmental psychology is not professional. Now, that's the problem in Malaysia. Unless we have badan ikhtisas or professional body, then we can really formally, legally categorize the practitioner psychologists as practitioner. I'm sure you know not all law graduates are practitioner, right? Not all of them are lawyers. I'm sure you know not all medical graduate of MBBS, some of them are not practitioner, although they study the same thing with other medical doctors. Same thing in psychology. Only these 8 are considered as practitioner psychologists. If you look at British Psychological Society website, there's a difference between division and is it unit? Divisions are for practitioner psychology, whereas unit, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if you go to BPS website, unit is for non-practitioner psychologists. Again, this is not caster, not case system. This is to protect the discipline and to protect people and to protect our students and graduate also. Some applied psychology has not yet achieved practitioner status, such as environmental, engineering, political, positive, and psychology of religion. I'm sure you notice at overseas, some of these master's program in this non-practitioner area, non-psychology graduate can study, isn't it? Why? Because they are not protected titles. And they cannot call themselves, still cannot call themselves psychologists. It's not a protected title. But in Malaysia, we want to protect it. It's maybe in future, even non-practitioner psychology program, if you have bachelor degree in psychology, you can call yourself psychologist, yeah, but not yet practitioner. But who knows, maybe in 5 or 10 years time, these 5 areas can be considered as practitioner psychologists if we control the student selection, yeah, the application. Yeah. At overseas, there's a very clear cut. Yeah? Some program has the nomenclature or title psychology, but they will tell you clearly this program will not produce psychologists. So they won't claim themselves psychologists. In Malaysia, we cannot do that. We don't have Psychology Act. So we have to be strict. Okay? You have to have bachelor in psychology and or prerequisite. Then you can do masters in environmental, engineering, political, positive, and psychology of religion. In Malaysia, even some counselors claim themselves psychologists, some motivators claim themselves psychologists. So we have to be strict. So please do not compare with the US system and the UK system. We do take into consideration when we develop PS 2.0, BPS accreditation and also APA accreditation. Some of them are applicable, some of them are not. Okay, because they have accreditory body at a professional level. We do not have yet. Okay, sorry for the lengthy explanation. This is very important. One more thing, people, non-psychologists, and some psychologists say, why use the word basic? It sounds so basic. Remember, basic is not the opposite of advanced. Basic is the opposite of applied. And I'm sure most of us know that. Basic here refers to pure psychology or research psychology. But like I said just now, you can still deliver talk, you can still give some consultation, but not in the same way as clinical counseling, educational, forensic, health, IO, sports, and clinical neuropsychologists. Okay. There are a few questions. I hope the host will collect the questions later on, and I will answer. Or my other panelists can answer the question. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Pardon me if I drink, yeah, for those who puasa 6 or puasa Isnin. Yes, these are some of the highlight of changes. They are detailed in the next few slides, but I will only highlight first. Yep. First, I mentioned just now in 2013, areas of psychology are not specified. Now we do specify it. We even give a definition of each subdiscipline that we specify. Basically, we have 3 areas of psychology: basic, applied, non-practitioner, and applied practitioner. Yeah, applied practitioner. I think we have to delete the word professional because it's controversy. I hope among psychologists you are clear why we can use the word professional. But based on the feedback, we change it to applied non-practitioner and applied practitioner. Okay, so please do not confuse your student. We must understand this classification. Of course, there are some disagreement at a technical level, but this is the best term that we can think of after receiving various feedbacks. Okay, in area 1.1, we for the first time spell out the PEO. So any HEP in here, those who are in the curriculum development committee, to be safe, okay, please sympathize with the APP. APP means ahli panel penilai, the one who are going to audit, recommend accreditation, for example. If you ask me, based on my experience auditing various programs, it's better for you to just follow the PEO outline in the PS 2.0. Why? I'm sure some of you are having headache marking your students' exam, right? Or assignment. Sometimes you want to be very specific, go for the wrong mistake in the wording, for example, and then when they revise, they write something else. And then you say, it's still wrong, and they get angry with you. I thought you said this is wrong, and then they revise the whole thing. When they revise the whole thing, they make more mistake. So sometimes when some APP give very specific feedback, and when you revise it, you add something else, or sometimes you forget that the adjective, verb, action verb is not correct hierarchically or based on taxonomy. The best thing is for you to follow the PEO outline in the PS 2.0. Why? Because we have taken into consideration the hierarchical aspect from diploma to doctorate. So you don't have to pening kepala or having headache. And we also have mapped each PEO with the 11 MQA skill set. So we have done the job for you. You know, in other fields of a professional or curriculum, when you say that the standard says so, usually your top management cannot argue. So this PS 2.0 help you, HOD or program manager, use the PS 2.0 to argue against your top management and say that we will not get accredited if we don't follow the PS 2.0. We also receive a complaint that sometimes the program management is not does not understand, for example. So the good young lecturers, for example, or in your team, they tell the program manager, you should do this, you should do that based on the PS 2.0, but unfortunately some, not all, program managements do not understand. So again, use the standard PS 2.0 to reduce disagreement and to reduce resubmitting. Okay. As APP, I was hoping the practice of auditing is only one time, one off. But the reality is sometimes we, APP, have to recheck 2, 3, and sometimes 4 times because the PPT or HEP they still do not understand what is our feedback. So my personal suggestion is just follow the PEO outline in PS 2.0. The same goes to PLO. We already have 7, if I'm not mistaken. Please check. 7 PLO. I think it will be shown later on. Just follow the PLO. We have mapped it with the MQF's 11 skill set. We have considered hierarchical aspect of the taxonomy. Which one is cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. It really saves your time. Yeah, really saves your time. Okay. And then another difference is master's and doctoral degree PLO1 is different by areas of psychology, and other PLOs are the same. Again, if you just follow the PLO, you'll be fine. But be careful. If you're offering basic psychology, your PLO number 1 should be different. If you're offering a master's or doctoral degree in applied psychology non-practitioner, your PLO1 will be different. If you're offering master's or doctoral degree in applied psychology practitioner, your PLO1 will be different. But PLO2 until PLO7, they should be similar. And then we're going to talk about nomenclature. This is a very difficult aspect for us because actually, it is some nomenclature are forbidden since 2013. That means during the PS 1.0, but there are still a few PPT or HEP who have not changed it. But the good thing is now a lot of them are changing the nomenclature. Okay, I hope you understand why you should change the nomenclature. I know your top management may have some ideas, but remember, we want to protect the psychology profession. We want to protect our students, our graduate. We want to protect psychologists also. So please follow PS 2.0 in terms of nomenclature. Again, do not compare with BPS or APA or APS. We have studied all three models, yeah. So and we feel because we don't have Psychology Act, we don't even have Dasar Psikologi Negara. So this is the minimum that PS 2.0 can do. We cannot do everything. Something can be done by Badan Ikhtisas. Even PESIMA cannot do anything because PESIMA is NGO, not Badan Ikhtisas. So this is the best that we can do to protect our profession, and I hope you support us, okay, by following PS 2.0 to the dot. Okay. Next, in terms of design and delivery, I'm going to present the curriculum structure later for graduates, grad cert and grad dip, something new here, and also master and doctoral degree in clinical psychology. This is also something new. Maybe 5 years from now, or maybe 10 years or 5 years from now, we will have curriculum structure for all areas in psychology at master's and doctoral level. But for the time being, we focus on clinical psychology only because clinical psychology is also protected under Allied Health Act. So it's an urgent matter for us to include curriculum structure for clinical psychology. Next, we're going to talk about the difference between industrial exposure, practicum, and internship. And then the specification of course at each level, yeah, from diploma until bachelor degree. Yeah, bachelor degree. For masters, we just give a brief guide. Okay, for doctoral degree also brief guide. We're going to talk about 45 prerequisite courses also. And don't think that we do not know. There are a few PPT or HEP do not follow this. Remember, if there is a follow-up, MQA02 or sorry, MQA04, if you are caught accepting students to master's degree without asking them to take 45 prerequisite courses, the program may not be accredited. And there are cases that we not accredit certain programs. Yeah, I think APP now realize that they have to be strict because previously maybe some of us are lenient, some of us are strict, but I think we have to be strict to protect the profession. So please, starting from now, ensure your applicant who do not have bachelor degree in psychology, they must take 45 prerequisite courses in psychology, and the courses are even specified. Yeah, specified. There are issues also. What if we use Appel? Okay, remember, psychology is different from other. I will explain a little bit about this. In PS 1.0, we use the term full lecturer and associate lecturer, and it seems some PPT or HEP still do not understand. So we have to spell out what does it mean. We use a new term, psychology lecturer and related field psychology lecturer. Most confusion is if the lecturer is counselor without bachelor degree psychology. They are not psychology lecturer. Same thing with cognitive science graduate, human development graduate, maybe criminology, statistics and others. Psychiatrists, for example, they are not psychology lecturer. They can teach, of course, psychology courses, but limited number of courses. Remember, there's no other reason except to protect our students, to protect our graduates, to protect our curriculum, to protect our profession, and even to protect psychology lecturers who are really psychology lecturers. Okay. Next, highlight for, I can't see the highlight criteria for psychology apa ni ya? Tak nampak area 5. Oh, facilities, yeah, lab, psychology test and others. Okay, sorry, the highlight is a little bit lengthy, but I think it's very important before I go into detail. Now let's see the next slide. Pardon me, let me have a drink. Yes, let's talk about nomenclature. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, at bachelor degree level, it is not allowed to have specialization. I think we have a lot of specialization mentioned in bachelor. The one which is not allowed is organizational psychology and counseling, and sometimes family or child psychology at a few universities. Some of them have changed immediately after PS 1.0. Some of them are doing the changes now. It is not allowed. I hope I do not have to repeat. There's no specialization at bachelor level. I know you're going to argue there is one or two universities at UK or US are doing that, but remember, they have accreditation body and they know some of them cannot practice as clinical psychology. For example, let's say the batch is a bachelor in clinical psychology, they know they still cannot practice. There will be legal dispute, but in Malaysia we cannot do that. So please do not put the specialization at bachelor level. It's not about wrong or right, it's about the best practice in Malaysia. Right? And even in UK and US, there's not many universities offering that kind of degree. Definitely not famous university or high-ranking universities. And then if you want to if you want to offer major in psychology and minor in other field, examples of acceptable nomenclature is Bachelor of Psychology with Counseling. Not Bachelor of Psychology within parentheses Counseling Psychology. No, not acceptable. Yeah, we don't want them to claim to be counseling psychologists at bachelor level. You cannot also say Bachelor of Psychology with Counseling Psychology. It has to be with, it should be outside psychology area. Yeah? Minor should be outside psychology area. But what if the bachelor is non-psychology, sorry, and the minor in psychology? So examples of acceptable nomenclature: Bachelor of Human Development with Psychology, Bachelor of Cognitive Science with Psychology. But don't use the term Bachelor of Human Development with Developmental Psychology, as if you are taking 10 courses in developmental psychology. Child Psychology 1, Child Psychology 2, for example, the Adolescent Psychology 1, Adolescent Psychology 2, Adulthood 1, Adulthood 2, Aging 1, Aging 2. Still not 10 subjects, isn't it? So you cannot say minor in developmental psychology. It has to be psychology only, and we have specified what are those psychology courses. Yeah, psychology courses. Okay. Banyak sokongsi slide ini. Jangan lupa catat ya. Don't forget to note down. Most of the thing that I've said is not in the slide. So it's important for you to take notes also. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Please ask question, but the question will be answered at the end of this session. Okay, next, area 1. Next slide, please. Yes, we would encourage PPT and HEP to offer grad cert. Grad cert is only 34 credit hours. STPM leaver can take it. A-level leaver can take it. Matriculation graduates can take it. STEM also. But the beauty thing about offering grad cert is those without bachelor degree who need to use APEL to pursue postgraduate program in psychology, they can use APEL to claim 15. They can claim 15 credit hours. The remaining 20, they have to take grad cert, 30 credit hours or 10 courses in psychology. Now you might say, but he's an experienced counselor, but he has worked at human resource. But you must remember, the minor should be in basic psychology. Can you claim, those who want to claim APEL, do they have experience in biological psychology at the workplace, plus cognitive psychology, plus developmental psychology, plus statistic, plus research method, plus abnormal psychology, plus social psychology, plus personality psychology, plus psychometric, plus history of psychology, plus ethics in psychology? It's impossible. So you must understand, do not accept applicant using APEL without them taking 10 courses in psychology. It is very important because they do not have any background or basics in psychology. So APEL can take only 10 courses. Yeah, 10 courses. What about bachelor degree non-psychology? They have already minored in psychology. They have taken 10 courses. That means what? 30 credit hours, right? 30 credit hours. Or maybe they have taken 5 courses in elective. That means 15 credit hours, right? So they can take 30 credit hours or 20 credit hours or 18 credit hours, for example, in grad cert. The remaining, for example, they can transfer credit. Yeah, transfer credit from their elective or from their minor during their bachelor non-psychology degree. Okay, and then bachelor degree non-psychology who have never studied psychology at all. So they can take grad cert, 10 courses plus 5 other courses. So hopefully the university offering grad cert, they have more elective, yeah, 5 electives courses. Okay, 30 core, 15 electives. Yeah, 15 electives. The best university to offer grad cert is those who can offer it via distance learning. Distance learning, right? This is my personal opinion. Maybe OUM or Wasan, UNITA, correct me if I'm wrong, or even public university who have experience conducting distance learning during PKP, you can offer it distance learning because most of them are working. Yeah, working. And after they finish grad cert, then they can start applying for master's degree in psychology at any university, not necessarily at your university. Okay, not necessarily at the university that they are taking grad cert. They can take any, they can apply from to any university. That's the beauty of grad cert. Okay, you can have convocation, you can have formal certificate, you can use it anywhere. But you're still not psychologist, yeah? You must have master's degree in psychology. Okay, next please. This one is grad deep. Yeah, grad deep. What's the difference between grad cert and grad deep? Grad cert 34 credit hours, grad deep 64. Alah, banyak sangat kan? But there are some people who maybe do not want to do bachelor degree, for example, but they want to do grad deep. So they don't have to take minor or electives or some other courses that bachelor degree has to take. Remember, bachelor degree 120 credit hours, isn't it? Half of it is grad deep only. So this is especially suitable for lecturers. Remember the category just now, lecturers, psychology lecturer, and related to psychology lecturer. Now, related to psychology lecturer, they cannot teach most courses in psychology, isn't it? If they are graduate in counseling, they may not be able, for example, case by case, they cannot teach biological psychology, they may not be able to teach cognitive psychology or statistics. So if they take grad deep, remember you're already a lecturer, yeah? You're already a lecturer teaching at the diploma psychology program or bachelor psychology program, but your head of department say, no, you can only teach counseling, you can only teach personality or development psychology, that's it. But you want to stay there, you want to develop your career, it's good for you to study grad deep because you will study 45 credit hours of psychology. Of course, you can transfer credit if you already taken 5 subjects during your bachelor degree as elective or as minor. But if you want to teach a lot of courses, might as well take all 60 courses in 60 credit hours courses in psychology. Another advantage is you can call yourself psychologist later on because you have taken a lot of psychology courses at graduate diploma level. So one day when we have Badan Ikhtisas that registered psychologists, even now PESIMA are re-registering their membership. We call them PESIMA registered psychologists. You are qualified to apply. Even though your bachelor is not in psychology. That's the beauty of having graduate diploma in psychology. Also, for those who bachelor degree is non-psychology, your master degree in non-psychology, but you want to study a second master in psychology. A second master in psychology. You can to take grad cert or grad deep, of course, yeah, grad cert and grad deep. Of course, it's preferable to take grad deep because you want to call yourself psychologist later on. And then master's degree in psychology, but before 2013, before PS 1.0, your university did not require you to take prerequisite, but you already have master degree in psychology. Or some of you are taking masters in education psychology, and the faculty does not require you to take prerequisite. or you have a master's in sports science, between parentheses, sports psychology, but your university does not require you to take prerequisite. Now, this is an ideal program for you, a graduate diploma, so that if you happen to want to be psychology lecturers, teaching psychology courses, or if you want to become a psychologist, this will help you to become one, right? So if you already have masters, the nomenclature is, the word psychology is there, but your bachelor degree is not psychology, you should take grad dip. And then you can take PhD in psychology. Yeah, PhD in psychology. Okay, keep the question coming. So far, minta slide aja. Minta tanya soalan pun penting juga. Please ask question. Let's go to the next slide. So far, so good, yeah. I know I speak very quickly, but if you want me to slow down, please tell me. But the slide will help. Now, we are not going to talk about bachelor curriculum structure or master. I'm going to focus on masters in clinical psychology. Okay, masters in clinical psychology. But by the way, all the table display in the slide is the same as the one displayed in the PDF PS 2.0, which is available at MQA website. Okay, it's more detailed there. It's more detailed there. Okay, minimum 2-year full-time program or equivalent. Clinical psychology can only be offered by coursework, cannot be offered by research, cannot be offered by mixed mode. I'm sure you can guess why. Because they need a lot of coursework, they need a lot of internship, and some degree of research experience. Okay. Again, don't compare with US. Yeah, US, they have PhD and PsyD for 5 years post-bachelor. I'm sure you know in the US, after bachelor, you can apply directly to PhD, and the program is 5 years. So don't compare with US. Yeah, in UK also different. They have clearing house and all those things is different. Again, we have read all those documents, but we believe that this is currently the best practice for Malaysian setting. Yeah, Malaysian setting. So don't be biased towards UK or US or Australia. We try not to be biased towards any model. We have Malaysian model. Okay, core 30, research project 6, practicum, internship 15, elective 0. We no longer have percentages, we now have minimum credit. So it's up to you whether you want to offer more than the minimum requirement, 51. This is the only master's program that minimum requirement is 51. For other program, it's 40 only. It's 40 only. Remember, the reason is because clinical psychology is very involved rigorous training, and it is bound by Allied Health Act. Yeah, Allied Health Act. So it's different. Don't compare with other applied psychology. We also spell out the component of practicum and internship. Okay, psychology assessment, psychology intervention, clinical supervision, and others. And the knowledge domain involve scientific inquiry, psychopathology, clinical assessment, clinical interventions, professional and ethical issues, and culture diversity, research project, and clinical training. Of course, you have the freedom to use a different course title, but make sure it maps with the knowledge domain. Okay, knowledge domain. Please do not be biased with the expertise, very sub specialties of your academic staff. He or she may not stay in your university for long, right? When they go out, who are going to teach that course? Please think about the welfare of the students and the graduate, not for your personal research or career opportunities. When you want to provide clinical training, make sure is having both the breadth and depth. Yeah, breadth and depth. Okay, no specialization is offered, no clinical specialization offered at master's level also. The one is at post-master's level. Okay, so far so good. So far still so many asked for slide, apparently. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, this one is doctoral degree in clinical psychology. For the first time also, we are offering curriculum structure at doctoral level. We are also highlight a little bit about doctoral degree in applied psychology, yeah, but we are not going to present it here. It's quite straightforward. But for clinical psychology, it's very detailed, again, because of Allied Health Act. Same thing, I think you can notice the similarity in terms of structure, but difference in terms of minimum credit. Okay, minimum credit. It is 3 years minimum and only by coursework. You can also offer specialization here, such as clinical neuropsychology, clinical child, clinical forensic. Okay, remember, yeah, clinical child psychology is different from child psychology. Child psychology is not a clinical program. Yeah, that one is sub area of developmental psychology. Component, same thing also. Yeah. Okay, I think the rest you can read on your own. Direct contact hour minimum 750. Details you can read on your own at the document. Now let's go to the next slide. Pardon me, let me have a drink. Yes, body of knowledge. Now, in PS 1.0, we try to be, what do you call that? Non-strict to allow some creativity perhaps for PPT, HEP. But during APP visit, we find out a lot of course titles doesn't make sense or doesn't tally with the content, doesn't tally with the references, for example. So we decided, in addition to highlighting fundamental knowledge area, which is the same as PS 1.0, we dictate the compulsory course, the compulsory courses. So at diploma, grad cert, grad dip, and bachelor level, it is compulsory to offer introduction to psychology. Of course, you can use other topics such as, other titles such as general psychology, for example, overview of psychology, because that one is obviously the same, right? But don't give something very, very different, yeah, very different. History of psychology, of course, you can add history and philosophy of psychology. Research methodology, of course, you can use psychological research method in psychology, research method 1, for example, if you have sequence. Statistic also, you can add statistic in psychology, psychological statistic is okay. If you're sharing with your other department, maybe you can use generic course title, is okay. Psychometric, psychological testing, test and measurement, or others equivalent course title. Research project, which I think most of you use the term FYP, correct? But now we have FYP in TikTok, which I still do not know what it meant. But FYP here refer to final year project. Yeah, final year project. Okay. For the sake of easy to understand, better use FYP, but you are free to use research project. But don't use the word thesis or dissertation. That one is for postgraduate. Yeah. Some may use what independent study, but again, independent study can mean different thing at the US and the UK. So it's better to use research project. Again, if possible, do not trigger your APP to question you. So just follow the easiest one. Eh? Just tell your top management, we want to follow the PS 2.0 to avoid resubmitting the MQO01 or MQO02 document to MQA and to the APP. Okay? Don't make yourself your life difficult. Next, biological or physiological psychology, developmental psychology. If possible, I think most APP now will tell you don't use the title lifespan development. It's not wrong, but we want to promote the term psychology. It's easier for them one day if you want to apply something, the course title say developmental psychology, or okay, can transfer credit, okay, no need to take this course in prerequisite. So use the word psychology as much as you can in the course title. I think most APP will recommend or even require you to do that. Yeah. So don't use the word lifespan development. Cognitive psychology, don't use the word human cognition. It's not wrong, but it's not best practice. Yeah, use the term cognitive psychology. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Personality psychology, don't use the term personality theories or personality only. Yeah, use the word psychology, personality psychology or psychology of personality. Yeah, abnormal psychology, don't use the term psychological disorders or psychopathology. Okay? Abnormal psychology. Social psychology, ethics in psychology. Most common mistake made by PPT is offering ethics in counseling. Remember, psychology graduate cannot practice as counselor. They can't even practice as psychologists. But it's important for them to study ethics in psychology so that they know their limitation and they know what are the ethics when they go for master's degree. Okay. I know sometimes the teacher is a counselor. That is wrong. It should be psychologists who teach ethics in psychology, and the textbook must be on ethics in psychology. Okay? There are 10 areas, remember, ethics, and not just on therapy, not just in the assessment. A lot, not just on research only. There are 7 other areas regarding ethics in psychology. And of course, you must have several applied psychology courses for the remaining. Yeah, you must have at least a few, like clinical psychology, counseling psychology, not guidance in counseling, counseling psychology, organizational psychology, forensic psychology, or others. Okay, and that is for diploma to bachelor degree level. Next, please. Yes, a few questions was asked. A few questions were asked about this term. We no longer use industrial training because it gives the perception that it's a training, when in fact it is not a training. It is just an exposure. We do not want students to cry or frustrated, Allah, I can't get attachment at Hospital Tanjung Rambutan or Hospital Permai or a counseling center. This is a wrong perception. Sometimes we detect is that some lecturers give that impression. Oh, you must do industrial training at Hospital Tanjung Rambutan. If not, you cannot get into masters in clinical psychology program. Who said so? In PS 2.0, we do not put that as a requirement for bachelor degree students to have industrial training at clinical psychology setting, and then they can apply for master's degree in clinical psychology. No, we do not do that. And that is a discrimination also. If it's a plus point, it doesn't matter, but not a requirement. Not a requirement. And I'm sure you know it's very difficult to get industrial training at clinical setting. So any work setting, even if it is HR, advertising, marketing, charity, even at museum, at whatever, even if you work with your mom, and I don't know, in business, whatever business that you do, it is the work exposure that's important, and how the student link it with what they have studied at bachelor level. Okay, I look at the person having conflict at my workplace, or then I refer back to social psychology textbook. That is, to me, reflect the achievement of learning outcome, rather than focusing on clinical or counseling only. Okay, so it's a non-professional placement, so it's okay if you do not have attachment at clinical setting. Remember, psychology lecturer, jangan bagi harapan ke student, jangan bagi them high expectation. Okay, any workplace will do. It is just a work exposure. So I hope all of you will change the term industrial training to industrial exposure. Use this PS 2.0 to argue against your HOD or your quality unit or to your top management. Work exposure. It can be supervised by non-professional. Yeah, HR manager, advertising manager, marketing manager, charity manager, NGO leader also can. Yeah, also can. Now, practicum is only, industrial exposure is offered at grad cert, grad deep, and bachelor level only. Practicum is offered at master's and doctoral level. It's a non-placement. In other words, it can be done at the university. Yeah, at the university. It can be done at the university. It can be practical activities. It can be like workshop. It can be like practice analyzing hypothetical data. There is no professional supervision required. It can also be the pre-internship training. Yeah, pre-internship training. Internship is a professional placement, and it must involve full consultancy cycle, from identification and analysis of needs, to formulation of solution, to implementation of solution, and evaluation of outcome. This consulting cycle is similar in all professional psychology. Yeah, professional psychology. And it is supervised by professionals. In other words, internships are usually offered, are required to be offered by master's and doctoral degree in applied psychology practitioner. Okay, practitioner. In fact, it is required to have both, practicum and internship. But for applied psychology non-practitioner, they are required to offer practicum only. They want to do internship, fine, but it's not required. It's not required. What about basic psychology? Cognitive, biological, social, developmental? They are not required to offer practicum or internship. But of course, you can offer practicum to them, right? Developmental, you can send them to childhood care, for example. Social psychology, you can send them to marketing agency, but it is not required for basic psychology. It will enhance their marketability. But remember, warn them, they are not practitioner, even though they have practicum, or internship. Okay, don't feel bad, a graduate of basic psychology. You should feel proud. Let's say you are a cognitive psychologist, you can apply in many settings. Then in forensic setting, eyewitness testimony, in education setting, maybe cognitive development of a child, for example, in organizational setting, cognitive processes, decision making by manager, you should feel proud. For others, their setting is very, very restricted. For you, the setting is everything under the sun, but related to your area, to your area, but not practitioner. You must remember that. You study psychology, you should feel proud of what you are good at. Don't compare yourself with other discipline, especially the practitioner. Okay, we have our weaknesses. Sometimes we refer to you also. We refer to you. Every experts have their expertise and their limitation. This is actually why we are very, very detailed in PS 2.0. We want to acknowledge all areas of psychology. At the same time, they should know their limitation. We want to protect the welfare of people. Okay, so now let's go to the next slide. Dah 1 jam dah, 10.58. Okay, good. Area 2, no significant changes. Next. Area 3, ada tak apa-apa? Tengok. Next slide. Oh, ada. Ini pun, I think I've mentioned a lot about it just now, right? 45 credit hours of prerequisite psychology courses. Remember, I think we're going to be very strict. APP is going to be very strict. Please advise your student carefully. Please advise them to take prerequisite courses if they want to. Bukan advise, require them. Kalau dia dah, if you have mistakenly not required them, I don't know, susah kan? Sebab dia nanti tak boleh jadi psikologis, tak boleh jadi psychology lecturer. So you advise them to take prerequisite courses. Bukan required lah, dah terlepas. Sebenarnya salah PPT salah universiti. Sebab tak wajibkan prerequisite ni. And there are number of PPT. I don't know why they try to avoid this. They must offer it. Now dah buat silap, advise them accordingly. Tell them, if you want to become a psychology lecturer, if you want to become a psychologist, you should take, we can help you. You can take some prerequisite courses, okay, through us. And things like that. We'll give you transcript, listing all the courses. Please make their life easier. You must advise them on their career path, what's the advantages or disadvantages if they do not want to take 45 credit hours. Yeah. And then, what else? Sama ya, appel not 45 but 30. Because we acknowledge their past experience, past experience. But only for 15 credit hours only. The remaining 30, they have to take grad cert. Grad cert. When I say grad cert, it's not necessarily grad cert. It can be micro credentials. It can also be what most universities are practicing now. Okay, can you take the 15 courses together with bachelor student? We will give you transcript upon completion, and then you can start your master's program. Remember, it's a prerequisite. Jangan bagi dia belajar subjek master dulu. Nama pun prerequisite, prasyarat. I think kan, please do not think in terms of commercial, money ke. Remember, professionalism comes first. Ethics comes first. Maybe your top management pressure you to do this. Dia mau tak belajar, biarlah dia belajar dulu masters. Jangan. Okay, they have to cover all 15 courses first before they start taking master's degree. Okay, I'm not sure whether this is a system in university. It's in my previous university also. Usually students, they apply for master. So their metric card is master, and then they have to take prerequisite. Prerequisite courses 45, that means what? 3 semesters, isn't it? 1.5 years. So they have wasted 3.5 years. They cannot GOT, graduate on time. So if you can change the system, don't register them as master student first, that's good. Register them as prerequisite student. If you register them as master student, lepas tu your exam unit kata passing mark is B and above. Ingat senang ke prerequisite? B and above. Lepas tu kena repeat lah, for example. The passing mark should still be C because the PLO and CLO is bachelor level. So how can you give them B as a passing mark? But when they want to apply for masters, of course, the same selection criteria apply. Master diorang must be what? 2.4 if I'm not mistaken ke 2.8? 2.8 dan you punya grad cert ni kenalah juga walaupun ada C kan, ada B, ada A, it's still 2 point something lah, 2.4 for example, 2.4 atau 2.8. University can increase 3.2 or 3.5, up to you. MPS 2.0 only bagi minimum requirement because we have many IPTS, IPTA and we have to consider all of them. Yeah? But it's okay to have C or C plus in prerequisite subject as long as the CGPA is okay. Alah, kita pun bachelor, kita psikologi kan ada je yang C kan, ada yang tak C, ada B and above semua kan, ada juga. But ada juga boleh juga buat master. So we cannot discriminate them. Okay, so that's why we believe grad cert and grad dip are ideal alternative to taking prerequisite together with bachelor students. With bachelor students. Of course, you can still design the program for them to take together with bachelor student, but their PLO is different. Yeah, their assessment sama, sebab level sama, level 6. Level 6 sama. So tak menzalimi lah. Ini dilayan macam budak PG. Tapi soalan UG, tapi passing mark PG. This is not fair actually. Yep. So make sure this one kita strict Strict sebab apa? PS 1.0 dah cakap dah 45 credit hour. Banyak PPT tak ikut peraturan. So sekarang maybe kena tegas lah, tak bagi akreditasi. Ya, tak bagi akreditasi. Sebab lama 2013 masih lagi tak ikut. I do not know why. We are very confused kenapa tak nak ikut. Because we want to protect the student, bukannya nak protect your university, the student and the profession. That's what's more important to us. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Puan Asma dah share tadi PDF slide. Siapa yang minta tadi boleh download dekat chat box. Academic staff. Rasa ada juga ni yang baru academic staff. Okay, kita ada 2 istilah, psychology lecturers and related field psychology lecturers. For diploma program mesti ada bachelor in psychology. Other than that, we call them related field psychology lecturer. Maybe they have bachelor in statistics, bachelor in counseling, bachelor in human development, bachelor in cognitive science. Bachelor apa lagi yang selalu orang confuse? Bachelor apa ya? Minum air jap. Criminology. I don't know if you have bachelor in very generic social science perhaps, kan? All those are related field psychology lecturers. Dia kena sedar dia bukan psychology lecturer. Okay, dia kena sedar tu. Dia kena belajar, dia kena tanya psychology lecturer lain, dia kena buat grad cert or grad dip. Okay? That's why you have to limit what they are teaching our students. Now, for grad cert, grad dip and bachelor degree, who are psychology lecturers? They are minimum holders of bachelor in psychology and masters in psychology. Senang, very straightforward. Or holders of bachelor in non-psychology and then pass 15 prerequisite psychology courses and then master in psychology. Okay, and then master in psychology. Okay. Other than that, related field psychology lecturers. There are a few questions. What if they have bachelor degree in psychology, tapi master bukan psychology? Bachelor psychology bachelor psychology, that's the different. Ataupun bachelor psychology first class, master bukan psychology, master counseling, PhD by research pula tu, master bukan master, sorry, PhD counseling, PhD management, PhD criminology. They are not counseling psychologists, they are not forensic psychologists, they are not IO psychologists. For them, they are still related field psychology lecturers, But because they have bachelor in psychology, the range of psychology courses that they can take is wider compared to those yang no psychology, bachelor in non-psychology atau past 15 prerequisite only. Kan, budak psikologi kan paling kurang berapa? 60 or 70 credit hour kan psikologi. Takkan tak layak nak ngajar courses in bachelor. So they can teach many courses, but their category is still related field psychology lecturers. They are not even psychologists ya. Tak boleh psychologist. Kalau nak kena buat master in psychology. Second master. Second master in psychology. I'm sure you can think logically why kan? Kenapa they are related field psychology lecturers atau why they are not psychologists. Remember, our intention is to protect the profession, the student, the graduate, and the psychologist, and of course all people. Think like that Jangan fikir your own department, your own university. MQA tak boleh fikir university, dia kena fikir semua pihak. All parties. Okay, now let's go. Wait. However, they may supervise FYP student and industrial exposure. Boleh ya? Boleh. Master tak boleh, master thesis tak boleh jadi main supervisor. Tapi FYP boleh. But make sure use theory psychology ya. Kalau criminologist, janganlah neglect or avoid psychology theories in forensic psychology. If you are what else? Quality science, for example, jangan lupa guna quality psychology theory when you supervise FYP. Okay, next please. PG Cert, PGD, Master's Degree. Ramai orang silap faham the difference between PG Cert dan Grad Cert. PG Deep dan Grad Deep. Okay, this is reality. I know some of you are graduate of postgraduate diploma health psychology from UKM kan? Sekarang tak ada kan? Why? Sebab dia tak mendapati. PG Deep is postgraduate level. Dia satu level dengan master, but the content actually is general psychology sebab dia macam prerequisite. Tak boleh. Prerequisite sepatutnya bachelor level, grad cert or grad deep. Dan the term health psychology pun tak betul. Health psychology ni kena belajar chronic illness, stress, kena belajar doctor-patient relationship, kena belajar epidemiology. Barulah boleh panggil PG deep in health psychology. But tak apa, dah lepas masa tak ada PS 2.1.0, PS 2.0, the most important thing, you dah belajar prerequisite, so you boleh buat clinical psychology kat UKM. Tak apa, itu pre PS 1.0. But now, if you want to offer PGD, PG Cert, dia kena postgraduate level. It can be part of master's degree. Mana tahu, I want to take PG Cert only lah. Tak cukup duit ke, nak tester dulu ke, teaser dulu ke, ambil dulu. And then transfer credit to PGD. And then transfer credit to master's degree. Boleh. Boleh. Ataupun budak master thesis dia gagal. Okay, tak apa, at least you dapatlah PGD. Tak adalah kosong saja kan, tak dapat apa-apa. So these are another beautiful thing of offering PG Cert and PGD. Tetapi, however, if you want to offer all three, you have to submit 3 MQA01, so kena bayar 3 kali ke MQA. Betul tak? Panas banget, Cik Kevin. Kena bayar 3 kali sebab different nomenclature. But in long term, I think it will benefit both the students and the PPT, and the HEP. Okay, so ini also sorry, this is about why is it under post PG cert di level? Oh, kenapa tajuk dia student selection satu lecturers minimum? Kenapa tajuk dia? Oh, sorry, silap faham. Kalau anda nak tercakap pasal area 1, if you want to teach PG Cert, PG Deep and Master's Degree, sorry delete balik, upload baru. If you want to teach PG Cert, PG Deep and Master's Degree, psychology lecturers, siapa dia? Who are they? They have bachelor in psychology, master in psychology, doctorate in related field atau psychology. Yang paling penting, bachelor master must be psychology. And then you can teach PG Cert, PG Deep, and Master's Degree. Or your bachelor is not psychology, you pass 15 prerequisite psychology, and then master in psychology, ataupun doctorate in psychology, ataupun related field. Related field. Master masih in psychology. Doctorate tak apa, psychology atau related field. Okay, one more thing. When you want to apply MQ01, MQ02, can you please list for APP jumlah atau percentage psychology lecturer dengan related field psychology lecturer. Because sometimes your documentation is not very kemas kan. Kalau student buat kita marah kan. Di table tak kemas, gambar ajar tak kemas kan. So we have to count one by one. Lepas tu you don't give the scroll and the scroll and the transcript. Because you want to know betul ke dia ni PhD psychology, rupanya PhD social science. Tak boleh lah. Betul ke master counselling psychology, rupanya master bimbingan counselling, master in education, guidance and counselling. Tak boleh lah. So please make our life easier, provide the transcript and scroll. Kalau lecturer tu overclaim, marah dia. Jangan dakwa awak psikologi ni. Tulis apa yang dekat transkrip. Tulis apa yang dekat scroll. Senang kerja kita orang kan. Kan malu kan kata, anda ada PPT claim that they have 40% only related psychology lecturer, but we found out it's actually 60%. Kan dah malu, tak best kan? Pula kita present depan VC lah kan, depan TNC academic lah, malu lah, nanti you all kena marah. So please make our life easier, just be professional. Yang overclaim tu marah dia, ataupun HOD yang suka cover-cover, ini boleh kot, nak cukupkan, jangan bagi nanti nampak more than 40%. Jangan. You know auditor is very particular kan, kita akan check satu-satu, sampai lubang cacing kita akan check. Please just be professional. Ingat, kita nak protect you, nak protect student, nak protect profession. We are actually evaluating the curriculum, bukan evaluate you as a person. Curriculum. So, related field psychology lecturer, yang those who do not meet the criteria above, they can only teach within their areas of expertise. Okay? If they want to supervise master student research project and dissertation, dia boleh co-supervise saja. That's why you have to mention to them. Okay, masa academic staff selection kan. Kita dia ni bagus ni. First class bachelor ni. Tapi dia bukan psikologi. Tak apalah. Related psikologi je lah. Lepas tu dia masuk kan, expectation is not met. Alah, 2 subjek je kau boleh mengajar. Alamak, tak boleh supervise master ke? Habis macam mana saya nak dapat kenaikan pangkat kan? KPI misalnya. You have to give realistic job preview. The best thing is to recruit psychologist lah. Kalau boleh 90%, 80%. Kecuali dah tak ada orang ngajar statistik misalnya, you can recruit statistik. You must remember ya, kadang-kadang psikologi rasa tertipu oleh PPT sebab expectation not met. You must mention to them, masa selection tu, you can only teach certain courses. You cannot call yourself psychology lecturers. You cannot call yourself psychologists, for example. If you want, you do grad cert or grad deep. Be transparent from the beginning. Nanti baru, biasa dengar kan, baru satu semester ngajar, dia dah berhenti. Kadang-kadang tengah-tengah semester dah berhenti. Sebab expectations are not met. Okay? So please be careful when you want to select academic staff. Kalau yang excellent dan dia memang tak kisah, dia suka nak mengajar limited subject psikologi, tak apa. Dia mungkin buat research dengan faculty lain, dengan faculty ni co-supervisor saja, okey lah. Internship tak boleh Internship tak boleh. Now, doctor degree, siapa nak ajar doctor degree, psychology lecturers means holders of bachelor in psychology, master in psychology, doctorate tak apa, psychology boleh, related field pun boleh. Or holders of bachelor in psychology, pass 15 prerequisite psychology courses, 15 courses atau 45 credit hours courses, master in psychology, doctorate tak apa, psychology boleh, related field pun boleh. Other than that, they are related field psychology lecturers. They can only co-supervise student research project, dissertation, and thesis. And bawah tu saya tak nampak apa. Bawah tu saya tak nampak apa ya. Okay, next. Tengok tu, Puan Asma, warning, slide for reference only, not to be quoted. Any detail, please refer to the program standard psychology second edition on MQA website. That is the hujah yang nak guna. Jangan guna hujah slide ni ya. Okay, I think I can skip clinical psychology. I'm not sure how many of you want to ask a question about clinical psychology, but I think we can skip as long as you know to offer clinical psychology is not enough. Kalau ada lecturer yang ada master's degree in psychology, dia kena ada minimum of 4 years of clinical experience kalau site supervisor. Kena ada paling kurang seorang doctor degree holder yang registered clinical psychologist. Dan kami dapati ada yang tak mencapai. Dia terpaksa rekrut lagi. Dan bukan senang nak rekrut. So please think twice before you want to offer master in clinical psychology. I know it's a popular program. I know it can make money, sorry. I know students like to be clinical psychologists, but remember, not all of them qualified. Sometimes some of them do not have that aptitude pun, but sometimes we still offer. Dan ingat dia akan mendiagnosis dan memberi terapi kepada pesakit mental. Nanti tanya daripada sisi mana, nanti siapa yang malu? HOD dan lecturer mereka kan. So please do not do that. Please be professional. Now offer must be based on what expertise that you have at that time. Not because of demand or commercial values and things like that. Ataupun demand dari top management ke dan sebagainya. Okay? Ataupun sebab faculty medicine kena offer clinical psychology kan. Faculty management, master IO kan, dia ikut faculty. Kalau faculty quantitative science kena offer master cognitive. Kena ikut syarat PS 2.0. Okay, next. Education resources, pertama, yang ni masih lagi tahun 2023 ni, daripada bulan Januari sampai bulan 5 ni, still some PPT thought, we have counselling lab. No. Psychology lab is different from counselling lab, even though you have one-way mirror. Psychology laboratory is a lab that allows students to conduct experimental studies with high internal validity. So jangan guna counselling lab. Especially do not share with university facility. Counselling lab for university. There will be an ethical issue when student coming for counselling. Alamak, budak psikologi tu buat eksperimen, nanti dia kenal aku. Do not share with university facilities. You must have your own psychology lab. And it is not a counselling lab. Ada setengah universiti tak offer pun counselling courses at bachelor level. So tak perlu counselling lab sebenarnya. You want to conduct counselling experiment ke? Bukan counselling experiment. You want to do counselling session in the psychology lab, up to you. But student, yang paling penting, can do experiment there. That's why you have that observation room to collect data. Bukan nak evaluate supervision. No. To collect data, to buat observers reliability ke, observer reliability, and then audio recording, and maybe decision making ke, group experiment. You must have that facility. I think some university use apa yang kita pasang kat rumah tu, dekat depan rumah, CCTV kan. Also can, also can, as long as it fit the concept of observing and collecting data. So please, we will always check when you claim ini satu laboratory, kita akan check ini betul ke tidak ni. Kalau counselling ke apa ni, kita akan tanya counselling lab, tunjuk dia punya juga, rupanya kongsi, tak boleh. You must have psychology laboratory. If you are very serious, kenalah buat kan. You have to have psychology laboratory. For psychology test library, not laboratory, library. It can be in the same room or different room. You must have at least one intelligent test, one personality test, one career test, and one clinical related test. And we warn you in the PS 2.0, do not use tests which of questionable validity. For intelligent tu, don't go anywhere else except Wechsler ke, Raven ke, WPT ke, you know, the one which has established norms. Norms, or maybe the translated version in Malay. Jangan guna yang intelligent pseudo psychology, no. Personality test, sorry, I know some PPT use MBTI. Jangan guna MBTI. Tak baca ke buku teks psychometric? Don't use MBTI. Big 5 lah kan. At least big 6. Use big 5. Big 5. If you ask me about locally developed personality test, dia punya requirement sama. Dia mesti ada norms, dia mesti ada validity, size of the norm must be large, for example, must be published in a reference journal, dah criticized by other lecturers, replication banyak, barulah you boleh guna secara profesional. So if you are not sure, just use big 5 personality test. Okay. Career test, I'm sure you know, Riasek, Holland, Strong, Interest Inventory, and one more saya ingat. And clinical related test, maybe Beck's Depression Inventory, Stress Inventory, or others. Alang-alang nak ngajar student, guna yang established, kan? Expose them to real test. When you have in future when you have master's degree, you already have a well-established psychological test library. Okay. If you have postgraduate program, clinical psychology, you must have tests related to clinical psychology. If you have master IO, you must have a test related to IO. Yeah? Or at least questionnaire. Kan test lain kan, test ni mesti ada norm kan. Sometimes questionnaire tak ada norm because questionnaire is group level of analysis. Test ni individual level of analysis. So make sure you understand that. Yeah? Dan laboratory juga must include equipment related to the specialization. For example, if you offer master in cognitive psychology, mesti ada cognitive lab, mesti ada cognitive equipment, kan, auditory ke, kan, visual lab ke, and things like that. At least ergonomic lab ke, kan, kalau master in IO, and things like that. Okay, for clinical psychology sama juga, you must have psychological assessment tools used in clinical setting, and you must have a dedicated internal clinic. Internal clinic is different from psychology lab. Kalau you tunjuk itu klinik, that's kalau and you ada bachelor degree psychology, tak lulus. You must have psychology lab. By now you should know, student graduate psychology must be trained in basic process in psychology, experiment, sensation, perception, memory, decision making, intelligence, human development, social psychology, personality. All those are the things that we have to be exposed to in laboratory. Kan, klasik eksperimen tu yang kita belajar tu patutnya student tahu, belajar dan tahu macam nak buat dekat lab, ya, laboratory. So faham ya, kalau lecturer, saya tahu 1-2 lecturer psikologi tak faham sebab dia dah lupa training dia masa bachelor, dia ingat dia master saja. Please restructure, reframe your mind. Remember, you are producing bachelor psychology graduate, bukannya expertise in your field. Yeah, if it is for bachelor degree. Okay, sorry, alamak, sebelah setengah. Mari kita teruskan. Nanti tak sempat pula FAQ ya. Laju sikit. Okay, no significant change for area 6 and area 7. No significant changes. Ada ke tak agaknya? Kalau tak ada, kita boleh buka. Yes, thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. So, I think we can start with FAQ. Boleh, Encik Kamarul? Q&A, sorry. FAQ, kami ada FAQ, tapi FAQ pun kami ada. Tapi tengok dulu apa question yang you nak tanya. Apa-apa question yang kalau saya boleh jawab, saya jawab. Kalau benda umum-umum saya jawab. Kalau spesifik, ada 2-3 panel kat sini. Siapa yang ada? Saya nampak Prof. Rahmatullah, saya nampak Dr. Rozaini, yang lain mungkin terlindung. Nampak.
Dr. Alizi, okay. Ada a few questions. Prof. Rahmatullah dah answered.
Good. Thank you so much.
Dan juga ada certain yang saya pun dah answered. Baru satulah, cuma kita ada, kalau ikutkan dalam question and answer, kita ada 12 lagi yang belum jawab. Okay. Jadi kita akan pergi one by one lah. I think doktor pun boleh buka kan?
Ya, saya dah buka dah. Okay. Saya nampak penanya pertama Junwoo, betul?
Okay, betul. So kita start dengan Junwoo dulu lah.
Okay, baca ya.
Boleh? Okay.
Okay, for Junwoo, I have a question regarding student assessment on page 55 of the program standards. For the level 4 MQF to level 6 MQF, at least 70% of the total theoretical courses except MPU must have a final examination in the final assessment. Can you define theoretical courses? Ya, theoretical courses biasanya bukan research method, bukan statistik, bukan psychometric, bukan FYP, bukan industrial exposure. Yes, those are theoretical courses. Ya, bukan lab courses. Ada kita boleh tambah ke Prof. Rahmat nak tambah verbally atau tambah dekat ni boleh tak, tambah dekat chat pun boleh juga. In general macam itulah theoretical courses ya. I think that's answer the question. Content based courses ya, content based courses must have final examination. Oxide is theoretical, of course. When I say theoretical, I know organizational psychology is applied, tapi all applied psychology dia ada teori dia. Ya, dari teori work motivation theory kan, job satisfaction theory. Senang cakap content based lah, content based courses, except the one that I've listed. Good, thank you. Next, Elizaveta Berezina. For level 4 MQF to level 6 MQF, at least sama. Is it
sama,
about
betul sama.
No, it's more than core subject. It's more than core subject. Applied psychology subject pun kalau di content based and you need to learn theories in in a clinical psychology counselling, for example, it is considered as theoretical courses. Tapi tak tahu lah, if you have courses like counselling skill, for example, langsung tak ada kiri, then maybe no final exam lah. But if you use Corey and Corey books kan, theories in counselling and psychotherapy, must have final exam. Okay. Remember, counselling skill cannot replace counselling psychology. Counselling psychology is still theoretical. Walaupun dia ada applied aspect, dia still kena belajar teori. Okay, next, anonymous attendee. Is micro-credential accepted for exemption? Boleh kan Puan Asma dengan Cik KB? Micro-credential ni,
boleh.
dia macam shopping kat pasar malam. Minggu ni aku beli ni, minggu depan aku beli ni. Dia bukan nak buat kenduri ke open house kan. Dia beli ni kan. Tapi katalah dia ambil, tapi dia simpan je dekat freezer. Lepas minggu dia buat open house, dia masak kat periuk Noxa ke, dekat periuk pressure cooker ke, microwave ke, dia offer a range of cuisine buat open house, dan dia boleh claim dan dia boleh apply exemption in for example bachelor psychology ataupun prerequisite before master's degree. Yeah. But micro credential course title mesti sama dengan kursus yang telah diakreditasi oleh MQA. Dia tak boleh kursus baru, betul kan? Dia tak boleh kursus baru. Dia kena kursus sudah statistik, research method, biological psychology, personality, developmental, cognitive. Dia kena sama title ni. Good. Next, anonymous attendee based on page 72, 73, 77. May we confirm which is the correct requirement for MCP for a staff who is master's holder with minimum 4 years clinical experience and 5 years academic experience? Number 1, can be primary supervisor for research project. Number 2, can be practicum internship supervisor. Based on page 77, will the master holder clinician then be related field psychology lecturer or psychology lecturer? Oh, ini kena tanya Prof. Ahmad. Boleh Prof. Ahmad jawab sama ada live atau type? Silakan. Kena buka juga tu PDF.
Prof Ahmad. Prof Ahmad mute. Prof Ahmad kena.
Sorry. Okay. Kalau kita tengok dalam page 77 tu, dah memang ada dah psychology lecturers. That means yang ada holders of Bachelor of Psychology, Master of Psychology kan, itu are all psychology lecturers. So yang ni kalau ikut ni master's holder 4 years clinical experience. I expect kalau ada clinical experience ni must be clinical psychology lah kan. So that means boleh lah, dia bukanlah related kan. Yang related tu dia punya bachelor bukan psychology kan, ataupun master dia bukan psychology, those kind of thing lah. So this is not related lah. These are psychology lecturer lah.
77 ni generic Prof. Rahmat, bukan refer pada clinical.
Generic
kalau
ya.
Kalau nak tengok clinical dia page 78. Belakang tu kita ada bagi tahu pasal master in clinical and also doctorate in clinical psychology lah. So nanti attendees boleh semak dekat program standard.
Yeah. So lain ya, clinical psychology ada khas dia punya syarat nak jadi mengajar.
Betul.
Mengajar subjek clinical psychology. Research method lain tak apa. Statistik tak apa. Tapi yang clinical psychology courses dia ada syarat tambahan. Good, I think that's a good question. Okay, boleh saya teruskan Puan Asma?
Boleh.
Adam Masu. Hi Prof. Can a lecturer with the bachelor psychology I assume bachelor psychology campur master, sebab it's not clear there. Bachelor psychology, master psychology,
doctoral business admin.
Yes, you can teach master in psychology. Macam saya kata tadi, doctoral is okay sama ada psychology atau related field. As long as your master in psychology, bachelor in psychology, you can teach courses at master's level in psychology. Good. Next, anonymous attendee. Is there a difference between doctoral in clinical psychology and PhD in clinical psychology? Based on PS 2.0, there are no longer such thing as PhD in clinical psychology. Faham tak? Nak explain panjang lah. Very difficult to explain. But there will be no longer PhD in clinical psychology. Again, don't compare with US. US PhD in clinical psychology dia coursework.
Australia pun possible.
Dia lain. Dia lain. PhD in Malaysia by research ataupun by mixed mode. So how can you train clinical psychology kalau hanya coursework, research saja atau mixed mode. Mixed mode tu nak ajar sikit sangat. Dia kena research method lagi, statistik lagi, tak sempat nak ajar clinical, 1-2 saja. So, in order to become again, Malaysia ni lain sikit, after master dah jadi clinical psychology. So doctoral ni, if you want to further upgrade your knowledge or further sub-specialize within clinical psychology, it must be in coursework form. So title dia dah jadi doctoral in clinical psychology. PhD tak boleh. PhD okay, for those of you who want to offer PhD, PhD in psychology full stop. Jangan PhD in organizational psychology ke, PhD in psychology dalam kurungan forensic psychology ke, tak boleh. I'm sure you know, PhD by research is not a professional training. It's a research training. Just because you study, you tak ada master IO, and then PhD title the job satisfaction and job performance, or I am an IO psychologist. Cannot, tak boleh. You are a research psychologist, a very good research psychologist. Yeah, you can be a good researcher, good lecturer, and things like that. Be proud of your degree. Kalau memang awal-awal jadi IO psychology, kena buat master psychology, ataupun lepas dapat PhD tu, buat second master IO psychology. And then you can call yourself IO psychologist. Nampak tak cara kita kawal this title psychology lecturer? And I hope you agree with us. It's for your own benefit, your own students' benefit, for the future of psychology in Malaysia's benefit. Bukan nak menyusahkan, nak protect. Ya, nak protect. Ya. Okay, consider answer ya. Next, anonymous attendee. Follow up, Prof. Rahmat boleh menyampaikan kalau saya tak jawab habis ke, atau Dr. Zaini ya. Follow up on previous question on lecturer's qualification, Master of Science in Healthcare Management. Apa tu? Lecturer has Bachelor of Science in Psychology, which covers main psychology area. Master 5 courses in organizational behavior, research methodology and ethics. Tak boleh. It's not a psychology master's degree. Kalau nak buat second master, ataupun you boleh buat PhD di Department Psychology. But
soalan dia, Dr. Lizzie, kalau saya boleh menyampuk, soalan dia adalah can a lecturer with qualifications of Master of Science in Healthcare Management teach psychology core courses? Itu soalan pertama dia. Okay, tak dengar?
Tak dengar.
Okay. Tak clear. Okay, soalan itu adalah soalan dia punya subsequent soalan lah. Soalan pertama dia adalah, can a lecturer with qualification in a Master of Science in Healthcare Management teach psychology core courses?
Cannot.
Dia ada Bachelor of Psychology. Dia ada Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Kalau Bachelor Psychology boleh, faham tak?
Dia ada Bachelor of Psychology. Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Tetapi dia still bukan psychology lecturer. Dia related to psychology lecturer. Dia boleh sebab dia dah banyak bachelor psychology. Itu hitungnya bachelor psychology. Walaupun dia bukan psychology lecturer, tapi sebab dia ada bachelor psychology, dari si teaching dia boleh. Tapi si panggilan dia tetap bukan psychology lecturer, bukan psychologist. Yes. Mungkin bila buat master health psychology ke kat luar negara, balik boleh jadi health psychologist.
Tapi dia boleh mengajar di peringkat diploma.
Diploma.
Sebab dia bachelor psychology.
Diploma no issue lah. Dia tak ada master pun dia boleh mengajar. Sebab dia ada bachelor psychology. Diploma senang. Ada bachelor psychology, senang. Boleh. Okay. So, consider answer. Next, Muhammad Nasrul Azmi, morning pro, I have 2 question, tapi tak nampak question dia.
Saya dah jawab. Soalannya adalah berkenaan dengan, sekejap ya, saya buka juga. Dia tanya, can a lecturer, kalau doktor buka yang answer tu, ada soalan, ada 2 soalan. Yang part answer tu.
Okay, dah.
Okay, soalan dia, anda nampak tak?
Nampak, tapi tak tahu which soalan.
Bawah sekali, dia scroll bawah sekali.
Bawah sekali, okay, Muhammad Nasrul Azmi.
Okay.
Can a lecturer with bachelor in counselling pursue master in research psychology, teach psychology courses diploma level? Sepatutnya dia buat prerequisite dulu, baru buat master in research in psychology. So dia, kalau dia nak ngajar, sebab masih research kan, tak belajar courses, so dia hanya boleh ajar counselling. Tengok apa yang you belajar masa bachelor. Kalau ada ambil personality psychology, boleh ajar personality. Kalau ada ambil developmental psychology, boleh ajar developmental. Itu sajalah. Sebab budak sarjana budaya psikologi, dia tahu psikologi as a whole. Dia boleh cross reference different subdisiplin. Kalau you sekarang minor atau elective atau ni, memang tak cukup lah. You cari experience tu terlebih counselling framework pula berbanding dengan psikologi framework. So boleh ngajar tapi limited. Salah universiti tu tak paksa you buat, salah universiti, sorry. Ya, kena cakap ni, salah universiti yang tak paksa you buat prerequisite. Sepatutnya macam tu. Kena buat prerequisite. So now I think you can cubalah buat grad cert ke grad deep ke, you can become psychologist, you can become psychology lecturers. And you can ngajar semua subjek dalam bachelor psychology. Okay? So saya boleh buka bahagian open dia, bukan answer dah okey dah. Jadi ada 2 soalan. A lecturer with bachelor in counselling pursue master in psychology. Kalau diploma tak ada masalah Diploma tak ada masalah. Diploma dia bukan bachelor psychology kan? Tak boleh lah. Tak boleh, sorry. Tak boleh, Prof. Bachelor Counselling, Master Education, Master in Education, Education Psychology. So diploma, dia boleh mengajar limited sahaja.
Ya, betul.
Macam Education Psychology, Counselling, itu boleh. Dia masih bukan full psychology lecturer. Okay, good. Saya buka open balik Yang mana sekarang? Can we offer PhD in Clinical Child Psychology?
Macam ni I nak jawab. Actually, at the moment, I jawab. At the moment, kita child clinical psychology is considered a specialization of clinical psychology. At the moment kita consider it a specialization. Jadi kalau nak buat program child clinical psychology, you kena buat master clinical dulu, and then master at the doctorate level tu, which is doctor of psychology, then boleh buat dia punya specialization dia clinical, child clinical. Macam kita ada neuropsychology kan as a specialization in clinical psychology. So at the moment that's what it is lah. So that means there's no child clinical PhD psychology lah. Research kan.
Point dia jangan guna istilah PhD. Itu dia.
Yes.
Boleh offer tapi jangan guna istilah PhD. Kita tengok balik ada senarai banyak tau.
Tapi no dia tak. No. Child clinical tu dia kena offer as a specialization in the doctorate of clinical psychology punya area.
Yeah.
Baru boleh.
Tengok nomenclature panduan nomenclature at PS 2.0 Dia lengthy list there. Kita cuba jawab sebanyak mungkin consider ni. Okay, next. Anonymous attendee. Page 55. Level 4, level 6. Ini sama ni. At least 70%. Must have an exam. What are the criteria? Dah jawab ya? Dah jawab. Next. Yang ni pun sama juga. Dah jawab. Dahsyat ni Prof. Rahmat akan jawab ni. What criteria does MQA use to develop experimental psychopathology lab? So I assume you are offering masters in clinical psychology ke? Yang ada lab jauh. Which I think semua kita suka kalau kita ada facility maybe dekat faculty medicine ke, I think okay je kan? Tak ada masalah kan? Tak ada masalah. Secara umumnya kena offer equipment psychological test yang berkaitan dengan master specialization tu. So I assume this is ada master clinical psychology sebab ada subkaitan psychopathology. So tak ada masalah. Kita hanya bagi minimum requirement, iaitu a generic requirement related to the specialization. I think we did mention kan, you can buat vision lab, you buat auditory lab. Kita setarakan contoh sahaja yang you boleh refer to overseas universities lah. Yep, the one I think is up to PPT, betul ya Prof?
Yeah.
Next, Anindita Dasgupta. Good morning. Sorry ya kalau you ada doktor ke profesor.
Ada Prof ni Prof.
Good morning. I would like to ask about the SEC for Bachelor of Psychology. May I know what is the required SLT? SEC apa? Puan Asma?
Special Enhancement Courses. Untuk ini saya boleh jawab. Okay, Special Enhancement Courses ni.
Kita bincang ni. Nanti saya jawab ya. Sebab itu Asma boleh jawab.
Based on MPA punya requirement, kita tak ada apa-apa. Kalau ikut dalam program standard, kita kata dia perlu di peringkat SPM dan juga student tu kena kredit. Jika student tu tidak pas atau kredit sewaktu SPM. Jadinya kita tak ada ketetapan daripada segi required SLT, type of assessment dengan required duration ataupun online face-to-face, itu terpulang kepada IPT. Macam mana nak design. Cumanya yang kita require adalah dia kena setara dengan SPM dan juga student yang ambil perlu kita kata identify as credit lah. Ataupun even you all nak buat lulus gagal ataupun pass fail, nak buat ABC tu clear, kita tahu kredit. Tapi daripada segi nak tengok kredit tu, mungkin kita kata grade untuk setiap markah tu berbeza untuk ikut setiap IPT. Jadi kita kata kena setara dengan SPM dan juga kredit tu juga kena setara dengan kredit SPM.
Asma, kita pun ada jawab kan. Katalah dekat program A-level dia ada subjek sains, ada subjek matematik, STPM ke kan, dekat matrik dah pun boleh menggantikan yang dia tak lulus atau tak kredit dekat SPM tu. So dia tak perlu enhancement program.
Ya, dia ada dua. Kalau kata dia ada any higher qualification daripada SPM, dia boleh waive. Dan satu lagi, kalau dia tak ada, dia kena buat enhancement courses dengan syarat dia dah pernah ambil lah matematik dengan sains tu. Cuma dia tak lulus ataupun tak kredit.
Okay.
Itu
Saya
sahaja.
tengok kadang ada yang tanya kat chat Asma. Minta ada orang tanya kat Q&A, jangan tanya kat chat, takut terlepas.
Saya pun takut terlepas. Okey.
Copy and paste your question dekat chat tu, letak dekat Q&A, ada icon Q&A tu dekat bawah tu. Okay, saya pergi atas balik. Free online assessment allowed for the subject test library. Boleh as long as reliable and valid. You must show evidence dan yang dia reliable dan valid. Jangan ambil yang pseudo psikologi, jangan ambil yang locally developed tapi tak cukup reliable, tak cukup valid. Kita akan check satu-satu. Main. Ini risk for your student ya. Takut dia sebar pseudo psikologi jadi motivator lah, cakap pelik-pelik kan. Dah banyak kan TikToker sekarang ni cakap psikologi psychology say kan. Nanti kalau kita psychology lecturer say ke, dia sebut nama you all kan, malu nanti kan. Please make sure even if it's online, it's okay, kami tahu kadang mahal, make sure that it is reliable dan valid. Even Big 5 pun ada online, tapi Big 5 yang printed is more valid than the Big 5 yang online. Kena honest cakap tu. Kena bagi tu student. Online pun ada Big 5, tapi dia punya validity is not as good as the one yang printed and established, yang McCray and Costa atau yang Hogan dan sebagainya. But like I said, kalau serious nak offer psychology, invest lah. Kan? Invest yang original. I think Prof. Ahmad boleh kan your photo state, but you must have that stamp for teaching and purpose only.
No. Tak boleh photostat. Sebab kalau you nak photostat, you kena ada original. You kena ada beli original punya, lepas tu you photostat dan you guna. Tak mau bagi rosak apa semua kan. Tapi kalau you tak boleh photostat daripada orang lain lah.
Betul.
You must have the original one and you can photostat it to use.
Yes, that's my point. You must invest, beli original, tapi kalau takkan nak guna setiap semester kan. So photostat for the original is your own, tapi guna stamp for learning and purpose only, dah habis patutnya kena apa? Buat apa? Shred.
Yes, betul.
Patutnya kena shred. Ini etika ni kita belajar. That's why semua psikologi lecturer kena revise balik etik in psychology ni ya. Because the purpose is for teaching and learning student.
Right.
But if you have clinic, then bolehlah guna untuk commercial purpose. Still kena guna yang ori. Itu kena guna ori. Klien kena bayar. Okay, sorry, panjang pula ni. Anonymous attendee. A few inquiries. ODL, universities and appel entrance for bachelor psychology. Appel for bachelor. Okay, yeah. Satu, ODL. Boleh, is it feasible to have one primary lab at the main university HQ and the rest learning centers around Malaysia having a database for psychometric testing for student use? Is it possible? I think ODL, like I mentioned just now, you can use, kalau you cannot have physical, yes, you can have one at HQ. Tapi the rest of the branches must have the online facilities to conduct experiment. Sekarang, I think there are so many vision atau auditory experiment online, banyak. Memang tak boleh bagi excuse. So I understand the physical equipment mungkin kat the main. Sometimes university student daripada all over Malaysia will nak buat FYP, dia pergi kat main kan. Dia nak buat FYP, dia buat nak ada experimental equipment, dia pergi kat main. Tapi kalau online boleh je from branches. So you must make sure kalau kita visit branches, your online computer lab tu ada online experiment yang valid. Yang designed by psychologists, designed by psychologists. So faham ya? Saya faham one primary lab main university boleh, tapi rest of the learning center still must have this facility to conduct online experiment untuk budak-budak bachelor especially. Faham ya? Psychometric testing pun sama, dibenarkan online juga. Dibenarkan online. Nombor 2, appel entry for bachelor psychology. Some project may not have credit in mathematics, but they may have a qualification such as diploma in business, which cover business mathematics. Sini dah jawab ni kan. Kalau dia ada subjek matematik post SPM dia fail atau tak kredit, tapi dia punya A-level atau diploma dia ada business mathematics, that can be considered as fulfilling the requirement to enter bachelor psychology program. But itu sebenarnya bukan apel pun. It's not even apel kan. bukan isu apel kan Puan Asma. Dia
Bukan. Sebenarnya kalau kata dia ada SPM, kalau dia ada kalau dia kata nak masuk Bachelor of Psychology melalui apel, maksudnya student tu dah ada SPM. So sepatutnya dia tak perlu ada diploma pun. Kalau orang dah ada diploma, dia boleh direct terus kepada Bachelor. So kalau kata dalam kes ni, kalau memang dia ada diploma which is ada higher qualification dan SPM, jadi boleh waive. Dengan syarat subject to credit lah ataupun ni.
Masuk Bachelor bukan SPM ya, STPM, A-level, Matrix, STAM, itu yang nak masuk Bachelor direct. Okay, SPM tak boleh go direct.
SPM untuk apel dia. Untuk apel, kalau untuk nak ambil Bachelor degree, dia boleh gunakan SPM dia untuk direct.
Tapi apa yang menggantikan STPM?
Dia tak ada menggantikan sebab dia kena ambil aptitude test. Lepas tu nanti dia ada kalau untuk bachelor saya rasa dia tak ada interview, cuma dia ada portfolio juga untuk kita nilai adakah setara dah cukup tak pengetahuan dia untuk masuk bachelor. So dia akan jump satu peringkat lah. Macam contoh orang yang diploma ke master.
Dia jump SPM jump to bachelor. I think we do not cover that in PS 2.0 sebab dia tak ada content psikologi. Dia tak kaitan dengan psikologi.
Tak ada. Kalau untuk apel, dia kena refer kepada apel punya guidelines lah.
Don't refer to PS 2.0 we do not cover that. Tapi apel to master, we do cover. Apel to master, we do cover. Okay, next, ada lagi tak bawah? For non-psychology related bachelor degree applicant, the 45 credit prerequisite should map with the list of courses recommended in page 98. Yes, semua yang kita cover kita dah sebut 12 subjek. If you notice 12 subjek. Let's test I remember or not. Intro, history, ethics, research method, statistics, psychometric, bio, cognitive, developmental, social, personality, abnormal. Kan, ada 12 kan? So the remaining 3 beberapa subjek lain, applied psychology ke apa dan sebagainya. So kena ambil 15. 12 tu kami dah specify. Wajib ambil ramai tertinggal history, ramai tertinggal ethics, wajib ambil. Wajib ambil. Ikut je lah, senang. Betul, pening kepala APP kalau you all tak ikut, you nak jangan cek loophole. Perasan PS perasan tak PS 1.0 orang cek loophole. They accept, maybe salah kami sebab tak specify, dia accept applicant nak masuk PhD psikologi tanpa bachelor, tanpa master psikologi. Tapi logik mestilah kena ada master psikologi sebab you should read the before. But like I say, we accept lah is our weaknesses. Kita ingatkan HCP dia tengok belakang sekali kan. Sebab itulah PS 2.0 kami sangat detail, sangat strict. Dia sebab ramai orang sama ada tak perasan atau dia manipulate, dia anggap sebagai loophole. Kalau boleh strict lah, kalau ada loophole pun, you have to be strict. Kena cakap dengan Senate tu, equivalent tu is in your definition, bukan university definition. Equivalent, kalau equivalent bachelor lah. Kalau equivalent master lah. Janganlah ambil kursus 3 hari daripada motivator ke terus boleh equivalent to master ke transfer credit. Tak boleh. So please be strict. Please be strict. That's the spirit that we want. So can we? It's not mentioned clearly that it is a must to map it accordingly. Map. Tapi kita dah list tak map pun. Kita dah list dah 12 kursus tu. Tak perlu map dah. Memang dah itu dah dia.
Okay, move on.
Move on. Anonymous attendee is a lecturer with BS Psychology, Master in Education Psychology, Psychology lecturer. This is a good question. I know Prof. Hairul sepatutnya ada, tadi dia ada. Dia kata sebenarnya Master in Education Psychology tidak berhasrat untuk melahirkan psychologist. Dia melahirkan educationist. But kita consider Malaysian punya setting sebab you ada Bachelor Psychology. Dan you master pula nomenclature psychology, yes, you are considered as psychology lecturer. Tapi kita haraplah faculty education lepas ni, ini bukan kuasa kami lah, kami harap saja mereka transparent. Siapa yang ada psychologist, sila ambil grad cert dulu, grad deep dulu, and then datang balik kat kami buat master in education psychology. Itu kami suka. Tapi kami tak boleh paksa sebab dia dah lain punya program, dia masuk program education. Sama juga master in sport sciences. Cuba transparent. Tanya dah, you nak jadi apa? Nak jadi psychologist? Ambil grad D, grad cert dulu. Kalau tak nak jadi psychologist, nak jadi sport scientist yang happen to know about sport psychology, then you can proceed. So kalau adalah student sport sciences ke, student education, cubalah lobby dekat diorang untuk buat grad cert, grad D. Okay. Next, my degree major, degree ni MQA maksudnya from diploma ke education ke PhD. Orang sekarang degree maksudnya bachelor. Confuse saya. My degree maksudnya bachelor betul ya? Sebab diploma pun degree juga kan, ijazah. My degree major organization under School of Management but minor in psychology. Master not in psychology but PhD about consumer psychology. No, PhD you kena tahu dia punya nomenclature dia apa. PhD tu management ke marketing ke advertisement. Walaupun tajuk dia consumer ke related to psychology ke, tak boleh ya. Okay, master not in psychology. Sekarang ni bachelor I think management, right? Bachelor management, minor psychology. Okay, soalan dia, apa saja yang saya boleh mengajar? You boleh mengajar subjek yang you belajar minor. Senang kan? You belajar minor tu you boleh mengajar. And of course maybe IO psychology lah. IO psychology. Consumer psychology tu mungkin sebab you dah ada minor kan, mungkin I don't know, it's very difficult lah. Kalau you dah buat banyak publication in consumer psychology, mungkin boleh lah kot. Tapi kalau salah dia satu PhD je, mungkin tak cukup. Takut you cannot explain the psychology theory behind consumer behavior. Sebab kita nak psychology tu as a core bila nak explain consumer. Bukannya use business punya perspektif ke management punya perspektif. Okay, boleh ya. Tapi you ada minor tu, boleh ngajar 10 subjek tu, banyak tu. Kan? Next. Sorry, still confused. For master in clinical psychology, can a master holder be a lecturer in the program? Sebenarnya boleh kan, sebab tak banyak PhD holder. But please read the detail dekat page 77, 78. Baca yang page 78. 77 tu generic. Ya, generic. Yang 78 tu khusus untuk clinical psychology yang tak ramai lagi clinical psychology kat Malaysia. Tapi kita perlu mengajar, perlu offer subjek master clinical psychology. So dia lain sikit. So baca together with 78 ya. Okay. Yang paling penting ada seorang doctorate, ingat tak? Ada seorang doctorate yang mengajar master tu dan dia adalah registered clinical psychologist. Itu minimum. Yang lain master tak apa ya.
Yang master nak mengajar pun kena ada registration.
Kena registration.
Lepas tu ada experience, clinical experience.
Kalau yang supervision tu kena ada experience.
Supervision.
Mutiara Dwi Sari. For addition, I forgot. I have experience as fellow and tutor about 4 years in teaching psychology masa saya mengaji PhD. After got PhD, saya juga mengajar related psychology course. Example, perkembangan personality, disability, pentaksiran. But your bachelor apa? That's my point. Your bachelor tu apa? So sebab tu we minta transkrip dengan scroll baru kita boleh jawab ya. Apa subjek yang you boleh mengajar. Okay, next. Saya tak ada jawab ya. Minta maaf. Prof Malik.
Tadi soalan yang Puan Mutiara ni adalah daripada yang tadi doktor dah jawab, yang dia kata dia ada degree in, sekejap ya. Dia ada degree in major organisation under School of Management tapi minor in psychology. Master dia bukan psychology tapi PhD dia consumer psychology.
Kita jawab lah. Okay, next. Anonymous attendee. Sorry lagi 2 minit. Minta maaf ambil masa anda. In the program standard, is there any specific section to specifically listing the classification of each subject that can be included under program structure? For example, common core, discipline core. Dah ada table. Dah ada table. Okay, ingat ya, kalau please copy and paste table dalam PS 2.0, letak dekat dokumen MQA01, MQA02, kemudian tambah satu kolom struktur program anda. Kalau tidak, pening kepada kita. Alah, kita lah pula nak copy and paste. Walaupun dekat generic borang tu tak ada, untuk memudahkan APP, please copy and paste table struktur curriculum PS 2.0, bachelor ke master ke, paste dekat MQA01 atau MQA02, tambah satu kolom list your own credit hours, kemudian tambah satu kolom mat ke tidak. Kalau nak tinggalkan kosong apa tak apa, biar kami yang evaluate mat the requirement ke tidak. Dia memudahkan kerja kami kan. Dia nak copy and paste tu ambil masa sikit, lari format lah dan sebagainya. Okay, so ikut saja table yang ada dalam PS 2.0. Rasanya sikit je kan Puan Asma. Satu core, kemudian core major atau core disiplin, kemudian elective. Asalnya itu je. Kan? Kalau ada pun within core major tu FYP dengan industry exposure pun tak wajib.
Sekarang ni kita dah tak ada macam ni kan, kita dah tak ada disiplin core ke apa ke. Sekarang kita dah panggil compulsory courses dengan kita kata core sahaja. Yes, dia kena refer balik lah tengok.
Yes. Compulsory tu boleh senaraikan subjek saja MPU ataupun compulsory faculty pun dekat situ juga. Jangan campur dengan core.
Betul. Core kita dah spesifikkan apa.
Core psikologi saja. So kalau ada subjek wajib faculty ke, walaupun bukan subjek universiti, masuk bawah compulsory courses. Thank you pada semua. Okay, next apa tadi? Which subject can the lecturer teach if doesn't have bachelor in psychology but has master in psychology? Apa yang dia belajar dekat master lah. Kalau master education psychology je lah. Kalau guidance and counselling psychology sajalah. Kalau ada statistik, pernah belajar statistik, boleh lah kot. Mengajar statistik. Sama je, very senang apa yang you belajar kat master. Tapi ingat ya, kalau boleh buatlah grad cert atau grad dip, senang nak ngajar, senang nak jadi psychologist in future. Nombor 2, is the requirement the same for diploma student who will seek for internship or is it considered as industry exposure? Sama juga, industrial exposure. Industrial exposure. Next, what about PhD? PhD lagi, Prof. Rahmat.
Itulah.
Doctorate in psychology.
I think sebabnya ada dah program yang dah ada PhD clinical psychology yang dah dibuat. Jadi sebab tu mungkin mereka nak modify this. Jadi dia nak modify lah. Why not? Dia nak maintain that one, tapi dia mungkin dia orang nak kata why not we have a prerequisite of masters in clinical psychology. I rasa sebab kita punya standard, kita dah decide dah that there will be no PhD in clinical psychology sebab kita punya model tu macam tu kan. Jadi model kita PhD tu research, by research. Kalau katalah overseas lain, because kalau overseas PhD in clinical psychology dia lebih panjang, dia 5 tahun begitu kan, sebab dia ada 2 komponen, clinical component as well as dia punya research component. Tapi kita tak follow tu. Jadi jadi oleh sebab itu yang mana yang dah buat dah, dia akan ada masa akan end lah. Lepas ni habis dah. That mean after this period, they will be asked to change their program structure, everything. I think they cannot have PhD in clinical psychology, although you want to have prerequisite masters of clinical and all that. Sorry lah waktu tu kan.
Yeah. But if the Irma is asking about doctorate in clinical psychology, memang wajib lah ada master in clinical psychology.
Yes.
Dah sub-specialization.
Ya, dah wajib dah, betul.
Advanced general. Advanced general. So wajib lah. If that what you meant lah. If that what you meant.
Automatic. Sebab the D-Psych yang ada sekarang ni pun, dia require you to have a M-Psych, Master of Clinical Psychology, in order to do the D-Psych. So, habis lah kan. Macam tu lah, kena follow that model lah.
Irma ya. Next, lagi 1 minit. Kalau terlebih, sampai nak stay boleh stay ya. Siapa yang ada urusan tak apa. Good morning, Prof. A minimum 60% of the total academic staff who are teaching core psychology major should be psychology lecturers, and a staff-student ratio of 1:25. Is this requirement applicable to ODL University for online classes since we are using COPA ODL? Jawapannya, Asma atau Prof? Rasanya sama. Rasanya sama kan?
Sama lah.
Sebab anda mengajar konten psikologi, mestilah sama.
Ya.
Betul tak Puan Asma?
Dia kena ikut program standard psikologi lah, sebab itu adalah program psikologi.
Okey, senang.
ODL tu kita kata itu daripada segi pelaksanaan dia punya program lah yang lain. Tapi kalau program itself dia kena ikut. Dia kena baca bersekali dengan standard program psikologi.
Saya pernah jadi APP psikologi ODL. Yang APP ODL dia tak tengok konten. Dia tengok pelaksanaan ODL tu ikut COPA ODL ke tidak.
Betul.
So 60% total staff masih kena psikologi lecturer dan student staff ratio masih 1:25. Okay? Next. Banyak popular soalan ni. Banyak soalan. Page 70, standard, state. Teaching, grad cert, grad D, bachelor. Academic should have master degree in psychology with bachelor degree in psychology. Okay? However, for postgraduate certificate, dia bukan satu je, ada 2 tak salah saya, ada 2. Bukan ini saja syarat dia, ada syarat lain tambahan. Okay, for PG cert, PG deep master degree, the requirement, panjangnya. Bachelor degree, kita tengok soalan dia apa? Tengok soalan dia. Yang ni copy paste daripada PS 2.0 ni.
My question is, shouldn't the requirement for the grad cert, grad deep and bachelor the same with PG cert and ETC, especially this one, a bachelor degree in psychology and a master degree and a doctorate degree. One of which must be psychology.
Macam saya sebut tadi, grad cert lain dengan PG.
Yes.
Grad
Graduate
cert dan
diploma
PG adalah
lain
level
dengan
6.
diploma.
Yes.
Senang cakap macam ni lah, anda G-cert, grad cert, grad deep dengan bachelor, kursus dia sama, orang sama boleh ambil, orang boleh ambil kelas yang sama, tiga-tiga pelajar ni, program berbeza, boleh ambil kelas yang sama. PLO dia sama, bachelor dia ada research project lah, grad cert mungkin tak ada, tapi PLO 1 hingga 6, majority PLO dia sama, CLO kursus sama. So jangan samakan dengan kursus PG cert, PG deep. Sebab level dia level sama dengan master. PLO dia dah tinggi sikit, CLO pun tinggi sikit. Jadi requirement lecturer dia pun berbeza. Dah jelas ya? Harap-harap menjawab soalan. Okay, next. Can we, Jamilah Hanum, apa khabar? Okay, geng. Can we offer clinical psychology specialization in PhD in applied psychology mixed mode? Tak boleh. Tak boleh. You can offer PhD in applied psychology, tapi it remains applied psychology. You can offer lah sikit, misalnya terapi tapi non-professional, counselling teknik ke, kan, apa nama, 1-2 subjek, even organizational boleh, sebab dia applied psychology kan. Mixed mode ni sikit aja kursus dia, tak banyak. But it remains non-clinical psychology program. It is even non-IO, non-forensic, non-educational, non-sport, non-forensic, non-health, sebab applied psychology yang disebut namanya spesifik kena offer through coursework. Kalau PG applied psychology maksudnya dia umum applied psychology. Dia generalist yang boleh apply sini, but it's not practitioner. Kecuali master dia dah ada master IO ke clinical ke master forensic health. So PhD applied psychology ni macam what do you call that, just to enhance knowledge ke dan sebagainya. Mixed mode kalau by research kena PhD psychology saja, tak boleh ada perkataan applied psychology. Okay, good question. Next, kalau saya silap faham boleh tanya lagi sekali. Next, AWMZ. Assalamualaikum doktor, I'm currently pursuing PhD in sport psychology. By research ke apa ni? By research ke apa? Memang diguna istilah sport psychology ke? Kalau dia ada sport sciences, kami tak boleh campur tangan. Tapi kami mengharaplah diorang tak guna sport, perkataan sport kalau dia PhD by research. Kami harap. Kalau tidak nanti, graduan dakwa dia sport psychologist. Padahal dia tak belajar pun 45 credit hour prerequisite. Ini tak beretika dan merosakkan profession psikologi, image psikologi. So kena pujuk diorang lah. Okay, let's say katalah dah pursuing PhD in sport psychology, dalam transkrip tu dia perkataan sport psychology. But I don't have degree in psychology, meaning that I have to take grad cert or grad deep. Yes, kalau you nak jadi psychologist. Yes, kalau you nak mengajar as psychology lecturers dan mengajar most core psychology subject. Okay? For teaching purpose and for regulatory purpose for psychologist title. Good. That's a good question also. Kalau tak, you remain sport scientist, bukan sport psychologist. Good. Next. Anonymous attendee. Lagi bawah. Okay, good. Thank you. Kena padam yang atas-atas lah. One lagi. Since PS 2.0 did not operationally define direct contact hours in clinical placement, can the HEP define it? Silakan, Prof.
Yeah, I think this one, I anticipate that we can allow the HEP lah. Because direct contact can be not necessarily face to face kan. No, sorry. What I mean is physical direct contact. Can be online, it can be all those things lah. So I rasa buat masa ni I'm not sure. I think kita boleh bagi HEP define it kot.
Tapi kita tak adalah conceptual sangat. Kita agak detail dan spesifik juga. Cuma tak adalah to the dot lah. Tak adalah macam melampau sangat concretization dia. So still ada ni lah. Ada room for HEP to ni.
Untuk clinical placement, sekejap ya, saya simak.
Ada.
Clinical placement. Kita dah cakap ni, direct contact, dia cakap apa? Direct contact hours ini akan define it. Dia dah define.
Sebab apa?
Oh, dia nak tahu definition to direct contact. Oh, saya ingatkan dia nak tahu berapa jam. Sebab kalau berapa jam kita dah mention.
Bagi betul.
Dia cuma nak tahu what is mean by direct contact hours. Okay.
Betul ya? Okay. Okay, so Prof. Rahmatullah punya jawapan tu sufficient lah. Okay, ni nama Jamil Hanum ada lagi. Kena apa? Tukar status jadi answered.
Ada dari clinical specialization in PhD applied psychology dah.
Next, okay. Can we untuk diploma in psychology perlu industry exposure ke? Sebab dalam slide tadi fokus pada level 6 and above. Ingat tak Puan? Rasanya wajib kan?
Untuk apa? Untuk diploma in psychology.
Ya, kena buka. Wajib tak?
Kalau untuk diploma, kita kata, kalau ikutkan sini, kita kata optional.
Optional kan? Okay, next. Is the Vienna test system of psychology diagnostic valid reliable? Rahmat, saya tak tahu.
I think this one is reliable because Vienna test system ni pernah guna. I think it's reliable and valid.
Next, laju sikit. Question 1. I found there are SM counselling. SM tu apa?
Sarjana muda.
Sarjana muda.
Okay.
Bachelor degree level and its curriculum structures like counselling, psychology, even attached clinical settings. How you resolve this issue?
Kami tak campur tangan bachelor.
Betul. Kita tak masuk involved.
Tanya diorang. Sorry ya, tanya diorang. Okay, question 2. What is the boundary between guidance counselling versus counselling psychology practice in Malaysia? Ini saya dah jawab banyak dah kan? Dekat media sosial pun dah banyak jawab.
At the moment actually kalau ikut akta counselor, counselling is done except sebab macam ni tau, clinical counselling is done by psychologists sebab akta counselor tidak cover di hospital setting dan sebagainya. Hospital setting dan if you check akta counselor, akta yang dia punya the first artikel dia kata akta ini tidak tidak cover hospital dan sebagainya. So dekat hospital all psychologists are doing counselling. So even private or government hospitals, tempat even any treatment centers and all that. So tak ada masalah dari situ.
Yeah. I assume ya Prof. Rahmat, yang penanya ni dia tahu beza kalau kat Amerika dengan UK. Dekat US UK very clear. Counselor psychologist is a psychologist, counselor are not psychologists. Yeah.
Yes, betul.
Dekat Malaysia ni dia macam ni lah. PS 2.0 is trying to make sure that the definition is clear. Sebab itu khusus di peringkat bachelor jangan guna kataan guidance counselling, guna kataan psikologi counselling atau counselling psikologi. Dan program master yang ditawarkan di Jabatan Psikologi mesti guna perkataan Master in Counselling Psychology. Jangan guna Master in Guidance and Counselling. Itu tidak dikira program psikologi. Hopefully lepas 5 tahun orang faham berbeza antara Counselling Psychology dan juga Guidance and Counselling. Hopefully by then kita ada badan ikhtisas, ada akta psikologi, doa-doakan ya. But PS 2.0 has done a lot to move us towards that path. To that path. Okay, next, Qinglan. Page 53. Hi, Prof. Can the assessment level for bachelors reach creation synthesis? It is stated until higher side evaluation. Bachelor level ya. Sebenarnya recommended saja. Tapi kalau nak creation synthesis sesuai dengan FYP dengan industrial exposure. Yang lain, yang content based courses masih sesuai peringkat evaluation. Saya rasa kebanyakan APP dia berpandangan macam itulah ya. Prof dengan Dr. Zainul.
Kalau ikut program standard kita memang tetapkan minimum. Jadi jika PPT rasa perlu untuk cuma ni nak kena tahu panel punya pendapat jugalah. Adakah perlu untuk Bachelor of in Psychology untuk dites sehingga peringkat creation and synthesis tapi masih orang kata di peringkat kita kata level bachelor degree lah bukan master.
Dia tak adalah original research macam PhD kan. FYP dia adalah some degree of synthesis is there kan. So
but in the levels of bachelor degree lah.
Betul. Level of bachelor. Tapi kalau sampai majority course synthesis tak sesuai lah. Sebab dia daripada application sampai sintesis, sepatutnya sintesis tu sikit, application tu sikit, banyakkan analisis kan dengan ni evaluation. Good. Next time, dear Prof and MQA panels, if a Malaysian completed A-level in Singapore without taking O-level, failed in mathematics A-level, but met the rest of the entry requirement, can disuruh enroll bachelor in psychology? Nampaknya tak boleh sebab dia tak ada langsung A-level math dan O-level math tak ada, tapi A-level math dia gagal. So dia kena buat macam tadi itulah, enhancement course ke ataupun apa-apa yang sepatutnya dia kena ni. Kalau tak memang tak boleh. Kita kena ketat sebab kita ada belajar statistik tau. Tak nak student satu.
Cuma saya nak tambah untuk enhancement courses, bila student tu nak ambil enhancement courses, kalau ikut dalam program sendiri kita kata student tu boleh di-enroll, tapi make sure dia kena ambil kedua-dua kita kata special enhancement courses tu before dia ambil any course subject related to maths dengan science yang memerlukan knowledge on math and science lah. Yang ni saja saya lupa nak cakap.
Maksudnya dia boleh ambil enhancement course sebelum dia ambil subjek statistik bachelor level.
Yes, dia kena ambil dan kena kredit sebelum dia ambil mana-mana subjek yang melibatkan atau memerlukan student tu punya kemahiran matematik dan sains lah.
Ya, betul. Dalam psikologi kita awal-awal dah kena ambil research method, statistik, biological psychology, context psychology. So ambil lah, paling kurang ambil semasa ambil intro. Tapi yang bagus ambil sebelum lah. Okay. Next, untuk kemasukan Apple ke Bachelor, saya kata tadi kita tak boleh jawab. Sila rujuk, dan dah jawab tadi kan, sila rujuk Apple punya ni lah. Does the module history of psychology compulsory? Yes. Bachelor psychology? Yes. Maaf doktor, degree bachelor maksudnya nak cepat tadi tak, sorry. Maaf diterima. Seterusnya, licensed counselor issued by Perkama entitled for guidance counselor or psychology counselor or clinical counselor. Okay, yang pasti tak boleh counseling psychologist. Clinical counselor ni Rahmat, panjang kan kita discuss. Tapi kalau anda tengok dekat US, clinical mental health counselors berbanding dengan counseling psychologist masih ada beza. Psychologist well trained in assessment, in statistics. Jangan compare dengan clinical psychologist, masih tak sama. Tapi sekali lagi lah, kita tak ada akta psikologi to explain dan kita tak ada campur tangan yang counselor punya akta lah. Kita tak boleh jawab. Yang pastinya anda tak boleh bergelar psikologis. Itu je. Kecuali anda ada bachelor psikologi. Itu kita bawah kita punya jurisdiction. Menjawab tak Prof Rahmat?
Yang ni kan.
Jawab ya.
Issued by
guidance counselor bukan psikologis. Counseling psikologi syaratnya sama, mesti bachelor psikologi dulu. Kalau ada bachelor guidance counseling tak boleh. Saya nampak ramai yang bachelor de counselor dia dakwa dia counseling psikologis. Tak boleh. Yang tu yang kita boleh cakap lah. Yang clinical mental health counselor you kena ikut betul-betul lah kat US tu.
Sebab dalam akta counselor dia hanya tulis counselor je, dia tak tulis psychology counselor atau counseling psychology. Go back to your akta lah. Betul tak?
Okay. Saya tahu ramai counselor jadi psikologi. Saya tahu ramai dapat master special. Kalau nak ikut psikologi, ikut psikologi punya PS 2.0.
Sekarang ni dia nak masuk clinical counselor pula. Dalam akta tak tulis pun ada clinical counselor. So kena buat perubahan lah kalau dia nak masukkan.
Kena buat comparison betul-betul, tahu limitation, tahu kelebihan, tahu ke had juga ya. Okay, next, can the module for example subject psychology be considered as applied psychology? Rasanya applied ya, tapi non practitioner. Okay? Yang ni blur area yang kadang-kadang orang non psikologi pun boleh belajar. Tapi kalau nak offer bawah program psikologi is under applied psychology, non practitioner. If my education background are Bachelor of Psychology with honors counseling psychology, apa tu UMS. Okay, let me tell you, saya baru tahu tentang UMS, minta maaf. Saya baru tahu Bachelor Psychology. Tapi graduan dia research counselor. Saya confused. How can biasanya kan dalam kurungan counselling maksudnya dia hanya 30% saja daripada the whole bachelor. Bila kami buat interview, rupanya subjek counselling dia lebih banyak daripada subjek psikologi. Boleh tak? Rupanya elective dia semua counselling, minor dia semua counselling kan? Sebab ini bukan minor ni sebenarnya. Kalau dalam kurungan bukan minor tau. Dalam kurungan is still major. Hingga dia menepati lembaga counselor untuk jadi counselor. Okay. Kita tak fikirkan you layak jadi counselor. Tapi nomenclature tu is misnomer. Bukan menipu, apa istilahnya, dia memberi gambaran yang salah. Oh, ingatkan psikologi graduate. rupanya subjek counselling lebih banyak daripada subjek psikologi. Okay, what we can only say, yes, you are psychology graduate, tapi bab jadi counselor ialah urusan counselling, bukan urusan psikologi. Okay, lepas tu you buat Master Education Guidance Counselling USM, and I am also the licensed registered counselor under LKM. Member Persima and Perkama. Dah re-register belum? Register dulu. Kami kena check you punya transcript, re-register dulu. And I've been teaching bachelor psychology more than 5 years. Can I consider as psychology lecturer or related field psychology lecturer? Macam mana ya? Boleh lah sebab dia bachelor psychology. Boleh. Tak ada issue, sorry. Tak ada issue sebab you bachelor psychology.
Psychology kan. Cuma master.
Kalau master education tu sikit sangat saja guidance counselling. Oh, bukan prof. Yang ni dia psychology related field tapi boleh mengajar semua subjek psikologi sebab you ada bachelor psychology.
Saya bachelor of psychology kan.
You boleh mengajar banyak subjek tapi masih related. Sorry ya.
Related field sebab dia punya master bukan psikologi kan. Betul.
Related field ya. Okay, next. What are the requirement of the enhancement courses? Dah sebut tadi kot. Ya, Prof, Prof, apa Puan Asma dah sebut tadi ya. Puan Asma dah jawab. Okay, next. Macam dah habis saja.
Lepas tu actually ada beberapa soalan yang mereka hantar.
Sorry Prof, ada satu lagi. Ada satu lagi, maaf. Is there any suggestion on specific HEP that conduct enhancement course? Oh, ni sama juga. Okay, enhancement course Puan Asma dah jawab. Grade cert dan alhamdulillah, sorry. Grade cert dan grade D dah jawab secara detail dekat PS 2.0. Just ikut saja. Kalau grad cert, kalau dia tak ambil langsung, kena offer extra 45 credit hour. Kalau grad D, 60 ya. Kalau yang dah apel atau yang dah ambil minor, so grad cert dia sikit lah, banyak boleh transfer credit. Kan? So you all katalah sport psychology, education psychology, langsung tak ambil apa-apa subjek psikologi masa undergraduate, ambil 15 subjek. Kalau ada ambil 5 subjek psikologi elektif, ambil 10 subjek prerequisite. Kalau dah minor, ambil 10 subjek psikologi, ambil 5 subjek dan ask for credit transfer untuk memenuhi 30 credit hour grade cert. Okay, sorry Prof, silakan. Harap
Master Child Psychology, Practitioner Psychologist, the question.
No lah, saya pun dah bincang dengan ada seorang developer psikologi, dia kata child psychology is a sub under developmental psychology.
That's right.
Kalau anda nak praktis jadi clinical child, buat master clinical psychology dulu and then pursue study subspecialized dan child clinical. Okay, ini bila saya bincangkan dengan developer psikologi, dia kata bukan bermakna anda tak ada buat child assessment. Anda boleh buat child assessment, anda tak boleh buat diagnosis saja. Kadang-kadang clinical psychologist ya, Prof, betul kan saya?
Ya.
Kadang-kadang ada buat assessment, dia suruh developer psychologist.
Dia boleh buat assessment tapi dia tak boleh buat treatment, dia tak boleh buat diagnosis. Yang tu je.
Betul. So you should feel proud.
Sebab dia tak ada training tu kan, dia tak tahu.
Betul, dia tak clinical. You should feel proud walaupun you bukan practitioner, you ada kelebihan yang psikologis lain tak ada. Budaya kat Malaysia ni saya nak ajar kena kerja in team. Kena tak boleh counselor buat semua kan. Tak boleh motivator korang semua dia kata dia boleh kan. Tak nak, kita nak budaya tu. Belajar clinical psychology kerjasama dengan psychiatrist, yes, kerjasama dengan counselling psychologist, dengan counselor, dengan social worker, dengan organisation psychologist, kan, dengan development psychologist. Okay. So saya tahu kat Malaysia ada satu master in child psychology ya. Tapi kalau komen lecturer development psychology ni, kekurangan dia ialah anda tak boleh nak assess adolescent, adulthood dan aging. Itu kekurangan kalau anda terlalu sub-specialization.
Sangat, betul. That's right.
Rugilah kat situ. Sepatutnya orang boleh rujuk anda orang tua, dewasa, remaja, tapi sebab dah terlalu khusus. Tapi kami tak boleh halang lah. In fact kami tak tulis pun berkaitan child psychology dekat sub-specialization, tapi developmental psychology. So itu untuk difikirkan ya oleh PPT. Kalau ada PPT tersebut hadir kat sini, anda nak tukar jadi developmental psychology, I think that's a better ni lah. That's a better ni. Dan jangan bagi impression child psychology tu clinical related. It's not. It's under developmental psychology. Okay.
Okay, this ni dia ni last ni. Ni to specialization at degree level, no specialization. What happened to the counselling degree? Tak tahulah Abdul ni. Dia counselling degree pun kita punya. Counselling degree bukan kita punya psychology degree.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they would do. Up to they are still doing it.
Masalahnya saya tak faham. Kami tak faham.
Betul.
You nak mengajar dekat bachelor guidance counselling tak ada masalah. Kalau nak mengajar dekat bachelor psychology, hanya limited courses, itu je. Kalau tak, ambillah grade D, grade cert, full psychology. Very clear.
Counselling kena refer kepada lembaga kaunselor lah.
Yes.
Counselling
Legal.
program memang kena refer kepada counselling punya counselor punya board.
Saya takut anda silap faham. Guidance counselling is not specialization under psychology. Dia kan ada bachelor, tak ada specialization. Yang kami masukkan tak boleh bachelor in counselling psychology. Sebab kami nak protect psychology. Counselling is not our jurisdiction. Dia guidance counselling, dia sebenarnya offer bachelor in education kan. Dia punya degree in education. So dia lepas tu dia offer specialization guidance counselling. So I think your question tak ada issue sebab kami nak protect counselling psychology saja. Jangan dakwa offer counselling psychology dekat bachelor. Kami tak sentuh pun pasal bachelor in education, guidance and counselling. Itu bukan kami punya jurisdiction. Faham So, saya takut anda faham macam tu. So tak ada isu ya, tanya orang counselling, bukan orang psikologi. Okey, ada lagi tak dekat chat yang tertinggal? Sorry, diorang ada berdua.
Actually there's several question tu yang yang pasal the number of kita dah bincang dah yang pasal number intake for clinical program kan, apa dia punya jadi walaupun dalam standard ada soalan, what is the number of any intake for clinical psychology program kan, ada soalan tu. Jadi kita dalam standard kita bagi tahu okay, you kena ada berapa lecturer, you kena ada ratio, all those things. Tapi yang kita tak beritahu tu bila you nak hantar ke practicum outside tu, yang tu pun jadi satu you have to think about that also. That means if you, let's say you take 30 or 40 people, where are you going to send for them for practicum? You know, because they need to be supervised by qualified people and we don't have that amount of qualified people. Jadi you kena plan lah betul-betul. Jangan ambil banyak sangat supaya nanti masa you nak hantar keluar tak boleh. Tak ada tempat. Jadi because of that, most established program, they only take about 10, 12 or even maximum 16 per intake, and their intake is once a year. So sometimes you cannot have like 2 intakes or 3 intakes a year. So benda-benda macam tu kena fikir lah. HCP have to think about it lah, you know, when taking in not only how many lecturers you have, how many supervisors you have, but also when you are sending out, where can you send? You ada MOU tak dengan government, dengan hospital? Kalau you ada MOU dengan hospital, berapa dia boleh bagi tempat for you? Dia boleh bagi kata 4-5 tempat tapi you ada 20 orang, mana boleh? Mana you nak hantar? So benda-benda macam tu lah. I think that's it.
Kami ada wakil practitioner, clinical psychology practitioner di lapangan, dan antara komplain dia ialah kadang-kadang student are not well trained sebelum dihantar ke internship. Sebab itu pastikan anda ada lecturer yang betul-betul terlatih dan student ratio masa mengajar tu pun kena jaga sebab student ratio masa praktikum lagi tinggi kan, lagi stringent. Student ratio untuk praktikum dengan internship lagi stringent. So kalau tak mampu jangan offer dulu. Again, framework kena nak protect student, nak protect orang ramai, bukan nak protect department atau universiti. Jangan fikir ni nak offer sebanyak mungkin clinical psychology nak rekrut ramai student. Jangan. Nanti diorang diagnose salah, nanti dia akan nama universiti juga yang terbabit. Okay, buat terapi salah ke tak terperhatikan. So tolong ya, jangan ikut sangat trend. Pastikan kemampuan. Ya. Okey. Ada lagi tak yang saya tertinggal?
Yang ni just a concern lah, worrying that some clinical psych programs employ fresh graduate clinical psychologists to teach and supervise the student. So definitely they can't teach the clinical, they can be employed to teach the bachelor program, and then to even see clients in the clinics and all that, but then not to supervise the student.
Yes.
Ni micro credential ni I think the answer kan. Enhanced courses kan. Tapi based on the name of the courses must be the same, isn't it?
Untuk enhancement courses, dia kata soalan dia adalah more kepada adakah micro credential can be considered as enhancement courses?
Enhancement courses.
Okay.
Boleh.
Okay. The answer is kita tak tetapkan bagaimana you all nak conduct enhancement courses, cuma kita tetapkan dia perlu setara SPM sahaja.
Setara SPM, betul.
Yes, kalau kita tahu micro credential sekarang adalah unbundle, which is yang paling rendah pun kita ada adalah pada level diploma lah.
Tinggi lah
Sijil
kan? Kesian pula
setakat
tu.
ni saya rasa macam tak ada yang buat micro credential, tapi kena semak balik. Kalau ada pun mungkin di peringkat diploma. So kursus tu adalah setara dengan peringkat diploma, which is lagi tinggi pada SPM. Adakah student tu boleh, jika student tu memang fail dekat SPM, adakah student tu boleh ambil micro credential subject matematik pada level 4? Adakah student tu orang kata, adakah knowledge dia capable untuk dia ambil sehingga level 4 lah. So tapi kita kata terpulang kepada IPT macam mana you all nak conduct you all punya special enhancement courses. Syaratnya hanyalah SPM sahaja, kita kata peringkat SPM. Itu sahaja.
Rahmat, dia dalam PS 2.0 dia kata nak start program masa klinikal kena ada 2 staff yang betul-betul klinikal psikologi baru boleh start. Tapi bila dah berjalan, kena ada tambah lagi lah. Kena ikut dia kena minimum number of academic staff teaching the psychology including the non-specialization 5. Nak start 2 tapi masih dah berjalan 5. Kalau tak ada 5, jangan offer clinical psychology.
Yes.
Jangan offer clinical psychology. Of course kita perlu at least 1 lah nak ajar research method dengan statistik kan. Tapi the rest mesti clinical psychology. Okay, mesti clinical psychologist. Ataupun psychiatrist ke, tapi kena ratio tu kena not more than 40% lah yang bukan clinical psychologist tu. Student ratio 1:12. Kalau supervisor, principal supervisor 1:10. Kalau clinical psychology dengan counselor psychology 1:6. Kalau itu teaching, kalau supervision 1:3. Nampak tak? Syarat dia sangat ketat. So kalau boleh pastikan anda mampu baru offer. Ingat APP mungkin strict sekarang. Kita akan pastikan dia strict sebab kita nak protect student dan juga profession kita. Okay? Ada lagi tak Puan Asma?
Tak ada dah. Saya rasa kita boleh berhenti setakat ini. Kalau kata ada any persoalan tambahan dan berkenaan dengan PS 2.0, boleh email kepada saya ataupun bahagian standard lah.
Dan
Jadi
katanya disiarkan kat YouTube ya. So boleh siapa yang kata nak recording tu kat YouTube boleh tengok kan?
nanti bila dia dah up masuk dalam YouTube nanti kita maklumkan.
Ya, okey.
Jadi saya rasa sehingga itu saja rasanya. Okey. Saya back to JKB lah untuk wrap up sedikit.
Ramai datang 131. Itu pun ramai yang dah undur diri ya. Mungkin lebih lagi.
Berapa tadi? Maksimum tadi berapa?
177 something I think.
Masya-Allah banyak ya.
Ramai. Wow.
Ya.
Terima kasih semua.
Okey lah, Dr. Edisi dengan Prof. Dr. Rahmatullah dan juga semua panel dan juga semua stakeholders yang sama-sama sesi kita webinar pada pagi ini, dan saya mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih. Memang terlalu banyak persoalan yang dikemukakan dan memang dalam isu-isu persoalan saya tengok kalau tanya direct kepada MPA pun memang suka MPA untuk menjelaskan sebab dia banyak berkait dengan akta lah, dengan apa, dengan persatuan dia lah dan sebagainya. Dan itulah kadang-kadang bila ada persoalan daripada pihak stakeholder PPT itu kita minta maaf. Kadang-kadang kita ambil masa sedikit ya untuk kita mendapatkan jawapan, sebab kadang-kadang kita akan report kepada panel sebab email banyak pihak MPA terima, bagian senat terima, tapi untuk kita menjawab on the spot tu agak mustahil sebab kebanyakan persoalan tu kita bukan saja kita report dengan panel, bahkan kadang bersama panel pun kita bincang dalam grup untuk mendapatkan jawapan yang betul-betul yang jelas lah. Jadi untuk sesi ini kita berakhir pada 12.30 kita berakhir. Jadi sekali lagi lah kalau ada persoalan Puan Asma ada nyatakanlah, boleh hantar melalui email dan kita akan jawab lah. Cuma kita maklumkan awal kerana setakat ini kita memang banyak terima persoalan berkaitan dengan pelaksanaan standard program psikologi dan kita ambil masa untuk kita menjawabnya. Okay, itu sahaja. Sekian, terima kasih.
Tapi nak beritahu ke jangka masa diorang kena ubah tu? Betul kan? Sekarang 4 bulan ni kan? Launch Februari.
Okey.
Untuk kelayakan masuk sehingga kuat kuasa 1 Jun.
Okey.
Tu mereka masuk kena patuh 1 Jun. Sekejap saya semak juga.
Dia untuk ni untuk 1 Februari hingga 31 Januari 2024 tempoh transisi lah. Kita bagi 1 tahun tu untuk program sedia ada. Program sedia ada maksudnya program yang telah mendapat akreditasi sementara dan juga akreditasi penuh untuk mereka membuat perubahan kepada kurikulum dan juga standard yang barulah. Manakala untuk tujuan pengambilan pelajar bagi semua program FA atau PA bermula 1 Jun. Ya, begitu juga dengan permohonan baharu bermula 1 Jun kena pakai SP yang baru. Itu saja.
Terima kasih. Okey, Pak Asma.
Okay, good.
Pak Asma
Alright.
Alhamdulillah.
Okey. Okey, dengan itu saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada panel dan kepada semua peserta, juga kepada pihak MQA International kerana organize this webinar. Nanti untuk rakaman YouTube nanti kita akan once kita dah upload nanti kita akan bagi tahulah. Nanti akan available dekat YouTube. Okey, saya dah letak juga saya punya email dan juga bahagian standard punya email. Jadi if anything boleh direct email to us dan juga boleh email kepada sistem SKPMQA. Alright, terima kasih.
Pada minta CPD points.
Sorry, tak ada any certificate or CPD points yang kita provide.
Ada psikologi, ada badan ikhtisas, baru boleh bagi CPD point.
Yes. Yes, betul. Alright, terima kasih.
Sama.
Maaf lah, sekiranya ada kelemahan.
Maaf zahir batin.
Ya, okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Ayo.